once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love once again. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and once again, starting a little earlier than scheduled. Still haven't figured out my real true rhythm. I mean, and admittedly, today again, I am truly grateful to see all of you tuning in, the folks showing up today, because really, I wasn't so sure what I was going to do today. Today, there was another shift within me. And I want to talk about the shift within me, but clearly I made the choice, and here I am today. And thank you to all of you. May our blessings, may our joy, may it grow together. You know, for the time that we are here, and that way that the memories and the joy, the energies, they linger well after we're gone. Today, the topic and the questions, I've got a lot of ideas actually that I do want to discuss. And I'm really hopeful that when I do drop the link that we've got some fun guests. There's so many opportunities and so many things that could be discussed in this world that we're living in. Today's Monday, if I'm not mistaken, October 20th, 2025. This year is flying by. This life is flying by. Time seems to be going by so quickly. And yet, is it really? Is there any change at all? You know, in the background today, the message that really I want to share, that I carry and I want to share with others is delight. Delight in the Lord. Some lightheartedness, some good cheer. That's the way to really be. And here's some words from the Bible. People criticize me because I do and don't go to scripture, but here, the words of wisdom are true. Goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Can you trust in that? Can you find that feeling for yourself? Can you trust in goodness and mercy to believe they are with you so that you look for them, so that you're not looking to prove that goodness and mercy are not found? Look to find the goodness and the mercy. You'll see the evidence. Then you'll discover it does follow you. It is with you. Because it really is in this realm of consciousness where physical form become enlightened into our minds, right? Seek, and you shall know. Seek to find and discover. And then from what you discover, you can learn, you can discern, you can nurture, you can grow. But what are you seeking? What is it that's moving you through your days, through your choices, through your routines? What's the underlying energy of you? It really comes down to 50-50. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Most often it is. But everything we do in our days, it's a result of choices. So we're making choices, we're making decisions to do things, to eat things, to hear things, to say things. Is the desire to do those things out of fear or out of love? And only you will know what is true. It'll come through, don't get me wrong. If you're moving with fear and you say it's love, the contradictions will be apparent to those who have a heart to understand and know. See, the simplicity that I've been finding This God of ours, truly, the Lord that I'm talking about, the Lord that Jesus spoke of and that the Bible is about, that God, man, it's something amazing. And so are you. So is life. Everything is pretty amazing if you just let it be amazing to you. Can you let life be amazing to you? Why should I? Because you can. No other reason. I mean, if you could let life be amazing to you, and if you wanted life to be amazing to you, what would that be like? How would it feel? Would anything be different for you? I know that everything became different for me once I stopped looking for all the misery and the darkness. Once I stopped fighting so hard to be right, my life got better for me, easier. And I'm going to drop the link here today and we're going to see what's going on and see what happens, what energies come together. But I notice that's part of this panel verse culture, which that term alone is another topic of conversation because some of my peers and the other collaborators here who do similar things to me, praise God, their differences are shining, and yet the similarities are still there. So, regarding the panel verse, and where was I going with that? Oh, praise God. I'm feeling good today. I'm just going to drop the link and I'm going to open it up. And Crystal Shaman, blessings to you. Thank you. The images on the intro, I felt they're beautiful too. A lot of those in the current one are Baltimore and DC. So you got it kind of customized once I moved over this way. But where was I going with this? The topic is your desire from fear or love? Do you know what moves you? Do you know what's behind your choices? In this world we live in, propaganda and conditioning have proven to be very efficient and effective tools for people to invest in. So if you don't think that you've been subjected to some propaganda or some conditioning from this society you live in, well, you're kind of lying to yourself. And you don't want to lie to yourself ever. That's the last place. Well, you don't want to lie, period, right? That's the whole point of the power of truth is you don't stray from the truth. You be honest. Because when you're honest, it's easy to be kind. And when it's easy to be kind, it's much more simple to forgive and to trust, to be of good cheer, good nature. All you got to do is breathe and be and let God do the rest. Okay. But that means you got to get out of the way. You don't want to get in the way of God's doing the best with you and through you and for you, because that's really what God wants to do is the best. Matter of fact, perfect. Perfection is the standard and the goal, I'd assume, from the heavens. But God accepts, right? God created the entire world and everything in it and says, that is good, right? And then creates mankind and says, that is very good indeed. And we are. I trust and I truly feel that mankind, humanity, we are truly loved by God, despite our shameful and foolish ways. Because it's the only thing that makes sense, especially if you call yourself a Christian, right? Because that's what the message of Jesus was. It wasn't about loving a religion. It wasn't about worshiping him. He said, follow me, trust me, love. And that's why we're here. We're here to love and to breathe. Yesterday, I said some words. Yesterday, I said some words about pause and accept, to be still, to consider, to know, all those things. And then today I was reminded again, breathe. Breathe and be you, who you are, as you are. Breathe and be you. And then align into the current moments of who you are and where you are. And then observe. Observe you and where you are and what is going on. And then adapt. Adapt to what's going on and where you can and fit in and bring some joy and some positivity to the world. Because if you're not trying to do that, then you're trying to serve the demons. And if you're trying to serve the demons, then you're trying to live in a hell realm. Welcome, Stephen.
Hello, Jack. Hello. Trying to live in I don't think anybody's trying to live in a hell realm, but that was interesting what you said there.
Trying to convince others it is a hell realm. I know that seems to be part of your choices in life.
How so? I'm trying to convince people. That's like saying I'm standing at the ocean trying to convince someone in San Diego that that's the ocean right there. I show what is. So, do you live in
So you
reality,
think,
Jack Talcott? Do you live in reality?
yes, I do, and you do
You do.
not. So here's where here's where today is interesting. Stephen, welcome for joining. I'm kind of glad that you did because you like to bastardize me quite a bit. And you've been complaining that I don't actually share your work, right? So I thought we'd share some of your work here, Stephen. Something from yesterday, 2 days ago. But I actually appreciated it. So I'm going to drop you out and I'm going to play this and then we'll see where this goes, man. This is from Stephen is behind it. I don't need to promote the channel, but Team Evil.
This is the only person Jack can agree with. Jack. Jack and Jack. Jack and Jack. And Jay's is Jack right here. Jack and Jack. Chats with Jack and Jack.
And I felt it worthy of sharing. Fighting for justice. Fighting with the truth. For the truth. On the side of righteousness and justice, I learned how to fight with my words through the unions and then through education in some of the organizations. I've been refining my path. And once I left the Postal Service, found the organization Veterans for Peace, I found my purpose for my life, ending wars. Can't really think of anything else to do, anything better than that, other than ending the wars. And I'm talking about the economic wars, the psychological wars, the wars through threat and intimidation. I'm talking about ending all of that nonsense. But somewhere along the way, God allowed me to learn surrender. And not just surrender out of weakness, but surrender out of faith. Surrender to God with faith. That's the path I've been on. So my early life was about fighting, and it was about conflict, and it was all learning and preparation for me and the future. And who I am today, I am just a simple man, but somehow God has allowed me to discover just peace on earth. Peace on earth in the here and now, like I never knew before. I mean, my heart is just, I feel peace on earth so deeply. And I want to share it with the whole world. I do. Praise God, man. Praise God. I am, dude. Jack's getting back to Jack. Our poll, I did actually consider this. A lot of these streamers, they restream others, and many people restream me. So why don't I join that and restream me? I am restreamable. And there's a lot of ideas that I start out on an idea and either I
So there you go, everyone. That is the only guest that Jack really wants to speak with. He doesn't interrupt. That's the only guest he doesn't talk over and interrupt and call a clown and a fool and disparage and belittle and be condescending towards and feel superior towards. That's the only guest that Jack really likes is Jack. That's the only guest that Jack respects is Jack. That's the only one that Jack cares about is Jack. Jack is mental. Jack has delusions of grandeur. He has a superiority complex. Jack has a lot of issues. I think Jack is a psychopath. Look at him here. Is that the look of intelligence? Look at that face. Jack reacts to Jack. You notice he doesn't react to other channels, really. He doesn't respect other channels. Have you ever seen him share a video or clips or a live stream or anything from any of my channels over the years? Over the 1 year plus, it's got to be well over a year. Never.
today.
He's not interested in what others think. That's why he is always wanting to jump in and talk over me. He won't let me get 2 sentences out without doing that or kicking me off the stage. Jack is the only person that Jack likes, but he doesn't actually like himself. That's also a facade. It's fake. It's false. It's a mask that he wears. Jack reveals himself in everything he does. Jack doesn't treat others with respect, but he demands respect from everyone. Jack is a total hypocrite. Jack is very narcissistic and insecure. The only one that he really agrees with is Jack. Very, very revealing. I thought you would enjoy that. I hope you did. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Happy Saturn's Day. I hope you have a great weekend. And I hope you see what I've shown here in this video. I hope you see it. Thanks for watching.
Praise God indeed. As Jack reviewing some of Steven's work with Jack reviewing Jack. Praise God. Well, I thought it would be appropriate because Steven is right in the video. Admittedly, I have not. Yeah, I don't respect a lot of the other creators online. I don't promote their work a lot. I'll mention their names and I'll suggest people to check them out. But yeah, the people that I re-show are people who I learn from. Shunyamurti, the Sat Yoga Institute, John St. Julian, Aaron Abke, Kyle Cease, Chase Hughes. There's a number of people, greater names and greater success that I do promote. But Stephen, your behavior with me is what needs to be addressed. Can we do that today?
Sure, we can do that. Can you leave me on here for 5 seconds, or do you have the strength? It figures that the only video you would share of mine is about Jack. That's classic. It's all about you. Perfect, man. The
It is.
narcissism of Jack Talcott. The only video of mine you want to play is the one about you. You proved my point. Good job, Jack. Good job.
Proved your point.
Yes, you're narcissistic and self-absorbed. You're the only person that you really like and agree with. You nodded your head the whole time.
Dude, see, this is the truth. Your perception of me is a clear reflection of
That's
you,
new age bullshit.
Stephen.
That's all it is.
Stephen, here's the deal.
Yeah.
My patience for you is very limited.
Oh, I don't have much patience for you. But I'm going to expose you.
Then why are you? Then
I'm
leave.
not done yet.
Great. Then
because you keep repeating the same.
Tell you
shit,
what.
Jack,
That's you. Tell you what. When I have a witness or someone who's willing to cooperate, I might try and speak to you again, Stephen. Or perhaps, yeah, I've encouraged Stephen too. Rose and I have talked. How do we get through to some of these people? Some of them are insane and they're just truly fascinating. But, oh, wow. Crystal Shaman. That's Shunyamurti he's a man who I'm a fanboy. I would be so love to visit one of his his retreats, his seminars, his lectures. I'm a big fan of him. But this is the thing: we're living in a time and an age here on Earth where there's so many gifted people that we can be giving our attention to. Stephen, you're welcome to hang out in the back, but tell you what, the deal for you, I think, yeah, he took off. I think it might be best for us to part ways, or you can reach out to me in a different way because this doesn't need to continue. I do appreciate the work though, because I got to review Jack reviewing Jack. I had fun with that. Um, hey, with folks who are don't judge me, please. See, this is the thing. Please don't bet against me. Please don't assume the worst for me. Now, in a week, should I see signs, would I be willing to have Stephen here again? Possibly. Yeah. I'm a very reasonable man. That's something I take pride in. But for whatever reason, God has allowed me to find the attention from a lot of these confused people. Now, those of you who are a part of this and you don't think you're confused, you're a witness. Okay? You're a witness to the insanity. And I'm only insane about God. Seriously. That's all I really think about or care about is God, love. So does that make me a narcissist or someone that deserves to be mocked? And let's see, what did Stephen say? I wonder if I could show this. I probably can. Glad you are looking weak. You expose yourself weak. You can't do it. You don't have the balls. You're a psychopath. You call others insane. I'm not done. I've just begun. For those who are wondering, this is the private chat from Stephen to me. And what's fascinating is through Stephen, apparently I've gotten the attention of other people. I mean, I've recently, through connections, not anything I've done or said, not that I can tell, possibly something I've said has been offensive, but Jake the Awake guy's got a bigger channel. Stephen got his attention, but he's been making comments about me, associating me with Stephen in some bizarre, foolish way. And then James True as well. For those who haven't found him yet, he's another guy I mentioned recently. He's friggin' hilarious, dude. Amazing talent. Um, Beautiful example of compassion and entertainment. My opinions on others are what they are. I'm sorry for wasting time with that. We can get to yes, please. More poll. We are looking for guests to interview. Please share the positive words of Jack, right? A crazy guy who loves to love, promotes living without fear, ending wars, health, nutrition. I do have a guest coming up. They had some private scheduling issues, as I understood, so we had to reschedule. But I do have at least one guest coming up. They are in the path of healing, and so that would be an amazing offer. The trolls come chill after you finish your stream when people that enjoy your company. F the trolls. Come and chill after your stream. Gotcha. You know what? I think I will. I said I was going to do that yesterday, and I did not. Yesterday, I ended up with phone calls and it seems I was busy. I know I was busy. And then I was tired and I went to sleep, and it's just been today. Today, I mentioned earlier in the stream that today I felt another shift. right? And I've been mentioning some of these progressions. Part of the reasons I do the daily live streams, it's a video record of me, some of my developments and discoveries. So the story of me over the past week, I felt some positive signs, excuse me, from the universe, and gave me some more confidence that just to accept. Okay, and this is what I mean. I may not be explaining this as clearly as I'm hoping, but in the general concept of the truth, okay, wisdom, words that are true, there are layers and depths to wisdom and to knowing something, okay? And so it's like I think I know something, and I see many people saying the right words, right? There's so many of us. We're saying the right words. We know the truth, but we're adjusting. It's not there. It's not clicking. It's not a part of us, right? So I've been saying these words for a long time, and it's just a simple and obvious truth. The future begins now. The future begins now. And the past is done, right? I've been carrying that part with me for quite a while. The past is done. This morning, this childhood, whatever, it's done. It's gone. No reason to cry about it anymore. No reason to complain about it. It's time to move forward. The future begins now. And so that truth has been deepened within me. It's like I can feel it a little bit deeper within me, that the past preparations are just that. The past has been preparing you and me for greater. Greater is the way, it is the path. So the past has been preparation, and my future begins right now. So I've been feeling more in this idea. Gets me a little less future tripping, because I've been living on a lot of hopium for a long time. I get some date ahead of myself, and I'm like, okay, by here this is going to change, or this is going to change, or this is going to happen, or this. So I live with a lot of hope keeping me forward facing. But with this, it was like another level of release for me. And today there was another shift of energy. And these could be nothing, just interpretations of nothing. But today I felt even more detached from the past, detached from the future. It's like I'm in this limbo of here and now with everything I need, and I can do anything. Anything is available, and I have everything I need. So then what do I do? That's a question I've been asking myself a lot for a long time. What do I do? I breathe. I allow myself to pause and to breathe and to align into the new moment, the new energies, the new awareness, the new time, the new experience. I breathe and align. I observe. I observe the exterior world, the interior world. What do I want from here? And then I adapt. Breathe, align, observe, adapt. Little ways to get through this life are bold. This is the truth, man. I need better friends. No offense to any I've got, please. I am very grateful for all of it I have, including the adversaries. But every one of us, if we all had better friends, wouldn't we be better people? I mean, it's that simple. If we were better people, wouldn't we have better friends? I mean, it's kind of how the way it works. But hey, speaking of good people, we've got an amazing opportunity and a guest here. So let me welcome back Trixie. How are you?
Hello. Were you were you just bitching about needing better friends, Jack Talcott?
It was pointed out.
Trying to trigger me.
No, compared to some of the guests I've had, I mean, no offense, I was praying for someone else to hit the link when Steven was here because he's nuts, man.
So do me a favor. If my signal's dropping and I'm yapping, will you just like wave your hand at me or something? Because I know it's not always great from where I am.
Yes, I
So
will.
yeah, unsurprisingly, probably it was the Stephen stuff that's why I joined. But I want to be careful with it because Stephen, like historically, has triggered the fuck out of me, and if he's honest, I definitely triggered him to the point that, yeah. Um. So I don't. Yeah, my intention is not to just come up and be petty, even though there's a small part of me that would enjoy that. Oh, I know your gig is not to continue with the fucking craziness, and it is craziness. It's
Yes.
absolute fucking. It is madness. And what I was just observing. So Stephen's issue with me that inspired him to put me on the demon list was I would in chat question his motivation for showing up on your channel, and he would be I would think that that guy is strange because he's on here being polite, but then I'd look at his channel and there's multiple videos of you, and it's like you're a demon, you're psycho, you're a narcissist, and things. That doesn't really add up. It's strange, whatever. So yeah, obviously he maintains that I left hundreds of comments calling him a snake, which just is not true. But hey, when it came to it, I was like, okay, let's just let that go if that's what you're choosing to say happened, or maybe I had a blackout and did do that. But I definitely would have left a couple of comments taking swipes at him because I just thought he was disingenuous. Would you believe? I don't know where I would have got that idea from. Anyway, so it transpired that you and I had a conversation on here that couldn't have been any more wholesome, and he took it and like bastardized it. I don't mind. I didn't say anything I'm ashamed of. And then he maintained I begged him to take it down. Again, not true. I've no issue. What I was asking him was, have you taken the videos down at the time when he said, oh no, I've changed my ways. So I kept asking in the chat, so have you taken the videos down? And I can see why he might have interpreted that as me asking for them. That's okay. But what I was actually saying was, if the videos are up, it doesn't really stand that you've, turned over a new leaf. So yeah, then it comes to he invited me over to his channel, and we had a conversation one morning, and it was wild. I tried to like keep it cool and calm, but when Stephen has free reign, and that's what he was trying to say to me, was when you're on Jack's channel, you don't get to say, I've got free speech here, I can say what I want. And being able to say what you want turned into, you fucking bitch, you fucking, were you abused by your father? Like some really weird shit that, like, it totally threw me off because I didn't go on there, all guns blazing. I was like, can you see why I might, anyway, it ended with much effort, kind of, peacefully because I basically kept diffusing it and let it go. But sorry that I'm being really long-winded, but what it is, I noticed what he did with me, and he just did it with you there. Whenever I would try to address with him, hey, what I'm talking about is, your behavior online that is like questionable. Obviously, you're calling people demonic and shit. And obviously that makes me think maybe you don't like that person. Like, am I on another fucking planet that's not a reasonable assumption if you're calling someone a demon, that perhaps you don't have the best intentions? But whenever I would try to raise it, he would immediately flip out and start saying, I have hundreds of hours of other stuff. Have you watched all my other content? And it's like he just said to you, you've proven my point because you looked at a video on my channel about you. Where's the logic in that? I don't understand. It's like, if someone does me, I do something shitty to someone, they approach me and say, hey, you've been a dick, you did this thing. No, how dare you talk about that to me? I want to talk about the 10,000 good things I've done in my life, not the thing that I did to you. There's no logic in it. And I don't want to come up here and like start, a big fucking argument with Steve. And in fact, I'd love to see him just be like, hey, yeah, I can see why people might wonder what I'm up to or question my motivation, and just be like, yeah, I can see why that might be a bit shitty, and that'd be that. But it's really, really strange, and I just can't get my head around why he can't for a moment go, yeah, I can see why you might want to address that stuff I say about you, or I can see why that might be interpreted as, really weird behavior, and instead gets wildly defensive and then says that you're a narcissist, but will not be questioned or challenged on anything himself. It's very peculiar. What are you thinking, Talcott, or what are you looking at? Look,
Well, the chat caught my attention there for a
I'm not
moment.
looking at the chat this evening. I think I said to you earlier, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that is what I caught. And then what you're describing with Stephen is you're right. This is exactly the behavior that not just him, many others are dealing with. They've been enabled with poor behavior their whole lives. Stephen, Snafu, Tommy, Paul, all these people, right?
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, God's allowed me to attract a lot of them. So the advice from a lot of people has been, well, shut the door on them, Jag. Do this, do that. Since 2018, what I've had in my mind as a theory is the words from the Bible, where two or more are gathered. On our own, trying to deal with someone who's deflecting and distracting, someone who's very skilled at it, like Stephen. He's had a lot of practice. He's very good at playing the games, moving the goalposts. So that's why it's beneficial to have witnesses. So if anyone ever has the intent of trying to help me at a time when Stephen is here with me, that's really the chance.
I did wonder whether, because normally when there's a kickoff, he's normally in the back, and I did wonder. I also wondered if me coming up would have just, because I really do rile him like a lot. A lot. I've never had, and again, I'm not saying this to fan the fire. It's just for context. I've never had a man speak to me in that, like, it was fucking unnerving, you know? And bearing in mind, it was because I was asking him about why he behaves so awfully to my friend, and I wasn't even that bothered about what he said about me, but I'm just,
Right.
it's kind of disturbing, but yeah, I
Trying
would
to
happily
address,
talk to him.
thank you. Trying to address his behavior. This is actually what I've been talking about for communities, for families. If we've got problems, interpersonal problems, let's
Mhm.
get a jury of peers. Let's get some hearts together. Hey, we've got another guest in the back that this could be another amazing opportunity, my friend. Check
I,
the
I have a pretty good idea what sort of opportunity. Yeah. Who have we got?
Mr. Landry, modern man on the land.
That's not
Yeah.
the person I thought I would see. Landry.
I'm like 2 minutes from seeing Joe Cole, but I wanted to drop in and say hi, Trixie. How are you doing? And hi, well, hi, Jack too. It's
Right.
been the craziest week ever, so it's just nice to hear some peace.
What is there's some wild background noise, man.
Can't hear you.
Stay,
What's he doing?
I'm sorry, I was trying to stay muted for like the next 30 seconds while I get to the car.
All right. No
Oh,
worries.
perfect. Yeah,
Oh,
good
that's
stuff.
what you were saying. You're on your way. You said you're on your way somewhere. So maybe to the car, might be a little more quiet.
Sounds like
You are welcome. And I
it
don't
sounds like
know.
you're in a wind tunnel, Landry.
And I'm assuming, but I think I know what Landry's talking about. There's been a lot of drama online. He's been in it, around it. And so it
I
did
haven't been
sound
over
like
there in a while, but it gets kind of chaotic, yeah.
the piece is a nice change for what he's looking for. So you're welcome to be here.
Well, Landry knows I'm all about that peaceful life.
Here we've got another guest in the back that I'm not certain of. So let me bear with Hippie Trump,
Oh,
Antonio.
Fuck you, psychopaths.
oh, that wasn't predictable at all.
Yeah,
Come on, Stephen, you can do better.
it's truly fascinating. Yeah, it's
Wait,
snafu. Take a break, buddy.
Snafu, he's one of the reasons I didn't stop in the chat this evening. It gets a bit overexcited.
This is it's truly fascinating. Oh, I did not pin the link, did I? Sorry.
No, I think our Paul put it up for me.
Oh, gotcha. Here. Oops, what's going on? So the question and the topic today, though, was partly from inspiration. Oh, this sorry. On Instagram, I saw a very inspiring conversation with a guy. And Landry, I don't know if I sent it to you or not. Turns out this guy's talking about following Jesus and how the commandment of Jesus is to love our neighbors more than the religions, love our neighbors above all else. And as I looked up that guy, it turns out he's a Texas state representative, and he's currently running for U.S. Senate as well. Here.
Send it to me or tell me his name. I can find it later.
think I was trying to get this stuff pulled up. Here, I'm just gonna. I'll play this. It's I saw his name in the comments too. Oops. This little clip is what inspired me today, mostly. That's why I was thinking.
Walk around with a mouthful of scripture.
Oops, damn.
And a heart full of hate.
I think I've seen this.
Damn it.
Around with a mouthful of scripture and a heart full of hate.
I think I've seen this.
Don't tell me what you believe. Show me how you treat other people, and I'll tell you what you believe.
Pay attention.
Jesus didn't tell us to love our churches. He didn't tell us to love our doctrines and our creeds. He didn't even tell us to love our scriptures. He told us to love our neighbors. And there was no exception to that commandment. Love thy neighbor, regardless of race, class, gender, sexual orientation, or immigration status. One of my favorite theologians, Barbara Brown Taylor, once wrote, "The only clear line I draw these days is this. When my religion tries to come between me and my neighbor, I will choose my neighbor." Jesus never commanded me to love my religion. You know what's interesting? Not once in the entire Bible does Jesus ask us to worship him. All he asks is that we follow him. Love like he loved. Love the outcast. Welcome the stranger. Feed the hungry. Heal the sick. Free the oppressed. As the hymn says, they will know we are Christians by our love. We have to get back to that.
I love it.
Don't tell me what you believe. Show me how you treat others, and I'll tell you what you believe.
Christian nationalism.
Isn't that powerful?
It's gorgeous. Who is that guy?
James Tallarico. He's here. James Tallarico. He's running for Senate. Yeah.
It's time to start flipping tables. Love it.
Hey, yes, and that too. Time to start flipping tables. I'm telling you. Washington, D.C., the men and women of Congress, they have become the money changers. They are the symbols of that. Mm-hmm. So let's go in and flip some tables over, right?
I wouldn't have gotten that reference until about a month ago.
Yeah, me either. Seeing people like that really inspires me. Does it? I don't know anything about his reputation. I have no idea of his qualifications, but I listened to another one of his speeches in the community. And the guy is wholesome, and he's pointing out the truth. We have class warfare that's been happening. And the best way the classes are going to win the warfare is to steal our freedoms. And our freedoms, they're being sold. Deeper and deeper, this world and this nation is getting into debt, getting more and more accustomed to paying out the nose for everything. Explain that kind of love. Lindsay, I would love to, but I'm not sure which you mean. The love of a neighbor? The love of... I'm not sure. I am happy to talk about those things. Thank you, Sunrocks. Admittedly, today, it was... When I'm not online, I'm working on my projects. I'm working on me. I am seeking and growing. I'm learning new things constantly. I'm constantly seeking inspiration. Today, I felt a little void of inspiration. I mentioned earlier, I didn't know, was I going to do anything today or was I just going to sit in the in-between? But I found some inspiration, and so I hope others can find inspiration from it too. How can you love a stranger? In some ways, is it not easier to love someone that you don't know? Because people we do know, it's so easy to find reasons not to love them. But that's an interesting question, and it's a valid question too, Lindsay. And should you love a stranger too? For me, what I decided is whether it's family or friends or just a background people I've never met, they're all the same. They're all a part of the same experience. So if I want to love my experience, I want to love everyone, because it takes everyone to make these experiences. Landry, if you were wanting to jump in, please feel free.
I just worry about my audio not being too good. I think it might be okay, but then if you talk and I don't mute, it'll have to be like echoey. But yeah, man, I'm just here in the city I grew up in. I just saw Joe Cool drive away. We were supposed to do something today, and I don't know. He's a hard guy to understand. I guess he's always on the moon. He's always chasing the police somewhere, But yeah, no. I mean, everything is just coming into the offline world. I mean, people have been telling me since the beginning. The more time we take to be, but we can't. I can't commit to being 0% drama. It's unrealistic. But I can commit to carving out spaces for new things, and that's what I've done. It's such a pain in the ass. Today it's like 93 again, so I'm not having fun today. I was having a lot of fun yesterday when it was 72, but being outside, I love it, and I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to just go where I feel I'm called towards without anyone telling me to go there, if that makes sense. But I don't know if we call that God or what, but just away from the noise.
I sit and I intentionally sit and be still just for that purpose, to try and know a little better. Because I started in this earlier, this world of propaganda and conditioning. Guys, it's been very profitable for corporations and governments to invest in. The mind control, the propaganda, the advertising, it works. It works very well. And so we go through life with all of these thoughts and ideas into our heads, and our belief systems are going to limit what we think of. And then our belief systems are going to limit what we do. But if you don't check into your belief systems, you'll hear things from commercials, you'll hear things from TV, from songs, from TV, from childhood memories. You'll hear things that are stored. So how do you know if your choice is yours or someone else's?
I don't know if this is related, but can I ask you a question about loyalty? Because I've been thinking about that a lot lately, and how I feel as though maybe I could be criticized for not being loyal enough. But isn't there a sort of process that one has to go through in order to find out who to be loyal to? And that's why a lot of people say, "Well, I'm loyal to the truth," but that could be many times in many cases.
You know what? That is a great question, Landry. And loyalty is something all of us, we've got to figure out. I used to be the type, I've been loyal. I'm loyal to my commitments, to my words. I believe that's a part of being honest. If you're going to say something, even if you said something a long time ago, you should be able to be consistent, or at least explain why things are different. Who should you be loyal to? My answer can be taken wrong, but the most important one to be loyal to, it's not a person, it's a concept, the truth. We must be loyal to the truth. above all. Otherwise, we have nothing to offer. But knowing what is the truth, that's the problem, because we've got subjective truths. We're limited in what we know. So what I suggest, be loyal to you, but above all, make sure you are honest with you. Because we got a lot of selfish people that are attached to themselves, right? They're loyal to themselves to a fault. They won't even consider the fact they're wrong. And that's not loyal to the self, that's a loyal to an idea. But that's what every addict is doing. Every one of us, we do have faith, we do have loyalty, but it may be misplaced. We might have our faith in the problem. We might be loyal to the negative thoughts. But if you can be loyal to you and staying true to you, making sure that, you're honest, you're good, you admit when you're wrong. If you can keep doing that, get all the answers. Did any of that help? I mean, it's opinions from me, but
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I feel as though you speak, I guess, in a more we both have a vagueness about us, I think, me and you, but mine, I feel like, is more chaotic, to where I don't think and I just say shit, and then I don't even know if it makes sense. Sometimes I'm like, that's it, that's exactly what I meant. But yours, I feel like, is more ambiguous, to where it can be more relatable, or I can just be too tired to understand it, or I just haven't gotten to that point in my life yet where I know the truth, because there is a lot of subjective things in life, to where it's many things that we have to do for our own purposes. We can't really call it the eternal truth. It's just like there's a level of selfishness that we have to have, I guess I'll say.
yes. But even every level we find, every boundary and belief we find, it should be tested. And I think the life will test it. This comment might be a better answer regarding loyalty. I am a man of peace. That is in my core. And maybe that is who I'm loyal to, is peace. Because I'd much rather I'll apologize and I'll be humble and I'll take the fault. If we can find peace and move forward, I've done that a lot. If love is the highest feeling, then it cannot be used lightly. Says who? I mean, that's my first question. That's the rebellious part in me. Every time I hear a rule, says who? Why? I don't know, Lindsay. Love is the highest feeling. It is the best feeling. It is to be appreciated and treasured. And that's where I think you're looking at it should not be used lightly because of how specialness love is. I can get that. But that also implies to some degree that there's a limit on love. That if we love one, we won't have the capacity to love another. But man, love is life. Life is love.
Shrek is love.
What is love?
It was an old meme. I couldn't help myself.
Okay. I didn't catch it. Lindsay, I'd encourage you, because of the questions you're asking, I would really encourage you to, if not with pen and paper, certainly with some intent, figure out what love means to you. Because you are asking. And when I started asking about love, trying to understand this concept of love different than the way I knew it, it transformed my life. It really did. And that's what I realized. Love is God. God is love. Those two are what bring life into being. And we've created a world where we feel so separated, so alone. That's my life. I feel entirely separated, entirely alone every single day. But I've been learning the discomfort. Here, I stole this line from someone else. Discomfort is the gatekeeper to all of our power. Discomfort is the gatekeeper to all of our power. Oh, we've got someone in the back, and they've been waiting for a while, but I suspect, actually, first, feel safe with the steel man. Welcome back, my friend. How are you today?
All right, doing pretty good as usual, I suppose. Thanks, good to see you, man.
Hey,
Hey,
you
how
as
are you?
well. There was another guest in the back.
Hey.
They've been waiting for a while, and I don't know. Ricardo,
Hey, Jack.
welcome.
Don't you remember me?
I
We spoke the other day. I was on the
Please
stream for a little bit.
Okay. Thank you for your patience, and please forgive me. I
No probs.
was leery
Frank's
because of
friend.
the past guest.
Hi,
What was
Trexty.
that?
Hey,
Oh,
how are you? It's Frank's
I'm good,
friend, isn't
thanks.
it?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. I'm mates with Frank Monday. He's cool.
Good man.
Yeah,
wonderful.
we're pretty close.
Well, this is wonderful. I appreciate you guys you joining. This is certainly different guests, different faces than we've usually had, and that's exactly what I'm wanting. So thank
What you
you
need,
guys.
Jack. That's what you need.
It is.
Praise God.
Praise God.
So how are you joining with anything particular, Ricardo? You've been here the longest, I think. Let me start with you.
No, not really. Just to join in your peace and tranquility and spiritual vibes, man.
Thank you.
You know,
I appreciate
that's why
that.
I'm here.
And how about you, Still Man? Anything any ideas or impulses joining with you?
Thanks, I'm not really coming in hot today or anything, I just kind of thought it was a channel that looked like it'd be fun to hang out on.
I appreciate it. It sounds like there's little ones in the background too, so that's beautiful. How about we open up the idea, because this question I was for the topic is your desire from fear or love? And then following it up to kind of clarify a little bit, do you know what moves you? Admittedly, these are concepts that I never saw value in stopping to think about things like that. But now that I see the value, it's like, holy cows, guys. What do you think? Are your desires from fear or love? When you think of your future and your planning, what do you think? Anyone?
Well, yeah, actually, you kind of struck that chord with me earlier when you did mention it. It was one of the things that actually stood out to me when you mentioned it earlier, because, for a while I had been struggling with this moderation thing going on. I was actually like basically kind of, I don't even want to get into it because it's just sort of like that energy, and I was struggling with that for a long time, all the way up until this morning. And then when you mentioned that, because once I started seeing people get moderated in different chats, and then I'd question it, I'd be like, "Why'd you mod them out?" And then they'd mod me out, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Oh wow, there's like this crazy censorship going on." And then all of a sudden I started pointing out the censorship, and the more I'd point it out, the more they started reveling in it and started becoming more. And I realized, like you're saying, is that the more that you sort of are afraid of something, or I think that's what you were mentioning, that the more you're going to attract it. The more I was afraid of being censored, the more they were like sharks in the water, and I didn't even have to say nothing.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, it's like you said, and as soon as I let that fear go, I haven't, completely yet. It just sort of hit me this morning when you were talking about it earlier, and but I think that's the way, because the more I hang on to that, right, I'm going to push myself out of every corner, as long as
Dude, I love it. because that is what I found. It's an energetic transmission. You may not even have to say anything, but people tune in, man, and people don't always understand what they're tuning into, but they know to move on what they feel. And I've had this wonder about other people who keep getting pulled over and keep getting, called out and harassed. I'm wondering, are they walking around with this energy of suspicion? I used to do that. I would feel suspicious, and then I'm sure that made me look and move suspicious. Someone always looking over the shoulder, checking around. It makes
Yeah.
sense, right?
What's
Yeah,
that
and you know,
phrase that what you resist persists, or something along those lines?
That's the one.
Please forgive the weird noise. It's my German Shepherd.
Also, resistance makes stronger. So
well, yeah, Jack, that's kind of interesting. Or you guys bring up a good point that because you're somewhat political as well, and I was like sort of forming a political movement, right? Like I was actually doing some debates on this, as far as what the level of moderation people should be allowing and stuff like that. It was turning into that.
yeah.
I was actually feeling like I was like a voice in the crowd, like trying to stand up for these people who were suppressed, and like I was trying to fight for what was right, And at what point though, does fighting for something become, you know what I mean?
Steelman, that's the question I've been learning myself. We do need to learn which is my battle to fight, which is worthy of my time and energy. And then as we're doing that, I think part of our growth and development is looking at how am I playing a part in creating that too. So
Hi, Lindsay.
yes, welcome, Lindsay.
Hi, Linzilla.
Me. All right, you got it. I had a question about all this, but you seem like you're about to talk.
No, please. I want to thank you. Your questions are amazing. Welcome.
Thank you.
Ladies
I loved
first.
your question, which was, do your desires come from love or fear? Assuming that those are the only two to choose from, I tried to think of examples that might pertain to that. For example, if the obsession that we as a society have with looks, say you want to look better, does that come from fear or love? I would say that comes from fear because you want to belong. So you have a fear of not belonging. But then I think you're leading us into a religious, it's a loaded question in that the answer is going to be, well, I wish to be closer to God. That is my desire. And so therefore, my desire comes from love. Can you answer that question without putting any kind of religious spin or God or any kind of a higher being to it? What can you desire that comes from love that doesn't have anything to do with religion at all? Is there something?
I think everything. The idea of moving from love versus fear. I mean, admittedly, most of our society is based on fear. Everyone's working on plans and savings and, trying to do things right. But when the plans are made out of fear, it's work and it's stressful and it still takes time either way. But when you do things out of love, out of a desire for the goal, this is really the whole principles of life coaching, at least the methods that I latched onto. It really is about following the heart's desire.
But you could get, of course, I have to do a caveat and a devil's advocate thing, right? I like
Right.
to question things and not to be obnoxious, but to really examine them.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, even the desire to be loved by another person, to desire another person, to want another person to have a partner or a husband or a girlfriend or whatever you define that as, doesn't necessarily come from love. It comes from the fear of being alone, doesn't it? I mean, something so so nice and such a nice sentiment and such a nice feeling that you think of when you think of a love or a lover or a boyfriend or a husband or a girlfriend. Nothing could be wrong about that, right? Or giving things to others, nothing could be wrong. And then some people say, well, it's selfish at the same time.
Well, no,
Couldn't you,
love is
couldn't
about
you,
giving and taking, isn't it? It's about sharing, being equal.
Mm-hmm.
so that notion of wanting a partner could only come from love and not fear if what you had planned was to give the other person and take from the give to the other person and take and mutually.
As long as you don't end up with fear, as long as you end up together in love, then it doesn't matter where you started.
You could argue that so many things
Yeah.
are based on fear.
Well, yes.
Fear is not a good motivator. That's all I'll say. Doesn't work for me.
Let me offer, because I think what you're saying, yes, there are people that they say it's love. We get into these relationships and they're convenient and they're comfortable and we call it love, but it's not. It's codependent. It's where where two people who fear being alone, they get together and then they cope with each other. They help participate with each other's suffering because they still feel alone because
But
they're
I
not
guarantee
whole.
you, whoever you pick is going to have issues. My brother said it wisely. He said, I'm looking for a girlfriend and to be my wife. And he said, but I want someone whose issues I can deal with because he said everybody is crazy in their own ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering, does this coupling really take place as a part of love, or is it a fear thing? Because I could just about argue fear about everything.
You could. And honestly, I mean, when you're talking about the same thing, I mean, it's all varying degrees. Where does hot become cold and where does love become fear, right? It's all varying. Here, real brief, the point.
Oh no, please.
I have actually met and experienced beautiful, healthy relationships, men and women that are clearly filled with love for themselves and their partner.
They do exist.
Yeah, they
They're
do
just
exist.
they're just hard to find.
Okay,
Right.
but I don't.
For
But
obvious
Lindsay's talking about a
reasons.
different kind of love, right? Lindsay's talking about a much different kind of love than like the love that Jesus was talking about. When Jesus was talking about love your neighbor as I loved you, and the best kind of love is to lay down your life for one another. That's different than how you would love your spouse in a marriage. And I think what Lindsay's pointing or touching on is that is marriage natural? Is marriage what we're supposed to be doing, or is marriage a modern day contract of trying to own people and that contract, and that demand?
No,
Actually,
I'm not asking that, just to be clear, but it's interesting.
well, yeah, I think that marriage, that coupling that you're talking about, is much different love than this love that Jesus was referring to. And the Greeks, of course,
Yeah,
had
but
different names for these.
love is love, surely.
Well, no,
Love
they
is
had like
still
the different
love.
names. They had like the different names, like how you would love a family member, how you would love
Sure.
a spouse.
I think the ancient Greeks had five different main kinds of love. Agape being the brotherly love.
It really, love is a mystery. It's a power and it really does transform people. But how to know love? This was a question I didn't have the words, and since I didn't have the words to explain it to myself, I felt like I couldn't understand love. But love is actually pretty simple. And this life, everything goes together. You want to look not just for what is there, but look for the absence of what is there, right? That's the way to really know something. To know hot, you know cold. To know love, you know the absence of love. And so I started cognizing and spending a lot of time listening to other people talk about their perspectives and observations on love. And that's what I started doing, is breaking it down. How do I know love? How do I know when love is not there? To me, it comes down to honesty, trust, faith, some loyalty. That was a topic we discussed earlier.
But you also, where you tripped me up here is, these are not your words, but basically what I translated it to is that relationships kind of have this dysfunctional enmeshment about them, because we are eventually enabling each other in some ways.
Mm.
But if that's one of the ways that you can express the highest form of love is to be in a relationship like that, it's confusing. It's confusing what you're saying. It almost seems duplicitous.
Yeah. What is the highest kind of love, Jack?
It's going to have to do with God. That's
Yeah.
why I asked you in the beginning of this. See, I shouldn't answer for him. That was rude.
I'm not
But
sure I know
that was
what
what I
that
was
kind of love
thinking.
feels like, but
Can I come in for a second?
I'd like to
Lindsay,
know.
Lindsay, I was thinking earlier, I went quiet when you commented earlier because I was thinking for ages about how can you love a stranger? And
Yeah.
I got really caught on that. And then I suppose maybe I'm getting you wrong, but it seems like you're asking about going in or looking for a relationship based on wanting someone to make.
No,
Say it again.
I'm not looking for a relationship. What I do is I try
No,
to make
not you. You're hypothetical. I can't. Because my brain is addled and I have a terrible memory. What was your hypothetical?
about. Well, my first question was, can you genuinely express the highest form of love for somebody or something without it being to a religious or higher, I don't know, a God or anything
Higher
like that?
power.
Can you answer that in something? Can you have this highest form of love in anything other than anything spiritual or religious?
I don't know if you can. No,
I'm
no,
gonna
I
go.
doubt that personally.
Well, it
No.
kind of comes back to what I was suggesting. How can you know love? To me, love is divine.
Mhm.
Love is perfect.
Well,
It's more than a
I kinda-
feeling.
Like I suppose with like let's say a parent who like is atheist has no buy-in
Right.
with religion. A mother will feel like some incredible movement of love for the baby without any assigning any kind of God or spiritual aspect to it, and so it's
That's a
still
good example.
it's purity. It's pure, and it's an, if you want to call it an energy or
But
whatever,
can
but it's not. It doesn't need that
There's
label
no
assigned to
love
it.
like a mother's love.
Yeah, well, that's just an
Well-
example. There was lots of things
Pure.
going through my mind because even earlier when you asked Lindsay, because I wouldn't have been in any way, well, I'm not religious in the slightest, but I wouldn't have even had any kind of spiritual
Not me.
belief for.
Oh, you actually, the
Like-
reason that I asked this, because you
Okay.
said, yeah, you were saying that even though this person was harassing you, that you still love him.
Who is this now?
It was King Stephen. I didn't want to get him in trouble, but that's who you mentioned.
I'm not
Of all
sure if I
people.
said I love him.
Of all
You
people.
said that you loved him, and I was wondering, how could she do that? How could she possibly love him? What kind of love is there?
How is that
And
possible?
how do you describe this kind of love if there are 7 types or 5 types or
Oh,
whatever?
I really did. I say because right.
Yeah, you said
What-
I love him, but he's bugging the you know what out of me. Bleep.
Oh
But I
yeah,
love
I
him.
mean, I probably wasn't quite being literal. I wouldn't like say that my heart expands with the purity of love when I think of Stephen. However, I gaze upon my dog here and I feel that feeling. I don't feel it for Stephen. However, with someone that maybe is not behaving in a way that I like, or even behaving in a way that kind of is repulsive to my morals or whatever, I can at times find it possible to kind of drop all my ideas and just see another human being, and it's kind of something that's it's had to be. It's been necessary in my life to. Well, I don't know if it's something I learned.
What if you replace the word tolerance with love in that one? I just think like love is this
but tolerance to me is kind of gritting your teeth and keeping your thoughts to yourself. But I can't actually get past even tolerance sometimes and feel a kind of, I do. When you asked the question earlier, when I went quiet, because I was thinking about it, how can you love a stranger? And I thought stuff like, I could see someone and in the street maybe and feel that I want the best for them, or if I think that somebody looks like they might be struggling or something, there is something that moves that feels like a love I might have for someone in my life, but I don't know this person, but something similar is moving. And I think it's kind of just a general, I want you to be okay. I want you to be safe, well, whatever. I wouldn't be thinking that. I'm not, those
wishing
words aren't.
Somebody well is way different than love to me. And I'm getting stuck on the semantics of this, which is something.
No, that's okay. That's all interpretation. For me, I want you to be safe and well. It is a similar kind of feeling to. There's a feeling behind the word. I want you to be well. For me, it does kind of. It's hard to describe without sounding wanky.
Well, Lindsay,
it feels loving. Say again.
Can I say that I think for me it's sort of like more of like a compassion, if you want to talk about like the feelings.
Yeah.
It's a better word than love, is it not?
And I think though when you mentioned that, I was thinking like when you were talking about the love that Jack is offering, I think that comes with like a level. He's saying I'm still willing to forgive you and look at you as if you are a child who is not evil.
Yeah.
And and I think if we can look at everyone like that, but we I think it's easy to tend to look at somebody because they did some wrong to us and say you're bad, and that's sort of closing off love to them. I think
Isn't that sort of sanctimony, which is definitely different than love?
I don't know the right words. Love, it comes in so many. Love is this power. It really is. It's, to me, once my mind started opening and I started looking at life a little bit differently, seeing everything, like Tesla said, you want to understand the universe, see everything in terms of frequency, energy, vibrations. Love is that. Love is the most divine vibration and power and force and frequency that we can attain. And love is beyond the words. This is where our minds and our language kind of fool us, because the heart has the answers. The heart knows. It knows the way. The spirit that's with us, it knows the future. It knows our path. But in our mind, we don't know those things. And the world has taught us to live in our heads, to live in memories and fears. Don't make mistakes. Don't trust the wrong person. Don't even talk to the wrong person. It's like, if we just love.
Oh, and to your point or question, Lindsay, also, I was thinking the utilitarian. I think you were talking about like if there's no emotion, right? If this was purely utilitarian, I could still, I think, hold up the argument of what Jesus was trying to make, is that it's sort of, if everyone was completely selfless, it's the, if everyone did what he did, if everyone, the theory is, I think Descartes had this theory that you should do what, if everyone did what you did, the world would be better, right? And that's what Jesus was saying, is if everyone did what Jesus did, the world would be better. If everyone just loved everyone unconditionally, then the world would work perfectly, right? And so that's the utilitarian aspect of it, is that regardless, even if there was no feelings involved, just the
I
level
think
of production
I don't know,
and
man. It's a
you
really
know,
nice idea, dude, but I think it's impossible
Sure.
in practice. I've tried. I've tried and
Mm.
tried to love people that I don't like, and it's impossible. So I
It's
give
Pretty
up,
not.
hard.
and I reserve myself to a select few. Or
so
Oh, you're missing out. You're missing out.
I,
Don't give
Really?
up.
but yeah,
Don't
I
give up.
appreciate the honesty, because if we
Yeah.
were pretending, it's like it's total bullshit as well. Like,
you
it's
know,
got to.
pretending is no good.
Yeah,
No.
and that's what I wondered, Lindsay. You said about sanctimony, which, yeah, I mean, if you're saying I love everybody, that's performative, but
Yeah. I
but
think it's just bullshit. Say
I
you love
wonder if
well,
her.
it
I don't want to be
depends
anymore.
on the
To say you
motivation. If
love
you,
everyone and mean it is just, I don't know. It's
Well,
just not right.
well, no, but I think some people have a great ability to put aside um everything and be really loving. I've met people like that, but
Mm-hmm.
and I think.
It's possible.
Anyway, but yeah, I just with the sanctimony thing. Yeah, I could see how it can be perceived like
Yeah,
that.
like a righteous kind of thing. Like I love you because I forgive you for all the ways in which you're obnoxious, but I see a few, nice and noble things about you, so I'll just forgive you. Like I'm up here and
okay,
you're down there. That's what I mean by
no,
sanctimony.
Lindsay,
Shouldn't
it's not.
love be on
It's
somewhat of
The
an
same level.
egalitarian equal
right.
type? Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's a negative thing like that. I would say that it leans more on the lines of we're all living this human experience. We're all trying, and it's a really, mysterious situation we're all in. I can't blame you for what you did,
yes.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with Jack about this before, where it's like, even this conversation, it can be uncomfortable or a bit kind of strange to talk about, because it sounds performative. And what you just said there, I think I said to Jack before, it's like, sometimes if you're talking about how you feel deep compassion and stuff for people who aren't behaving in ways that you would normally respond lovingly to, it's kind of like that I'll pray for you energy, where
Yeah.
like it sounds so fucking
Yeah.
disingenuous, but like
Mm.
I know
It's
I
like a
don't
nice way of saying F you.
yeah, and that's why like that would make me my skin crawl, like, so I'm not going to say it if I don't
See you next
have
Tuesday.
if there's no genuine feeling in it,
Yeah.
but yeah, I definitely see with Jack's channel, like the chaos and the people that will turn up, and
Mm.
I well, I know, I don't believe, I know that it's genuine and not performative with Jack, that he will just have the door open for it to be
Mm.
all good,
But some of these people
and
that come on regularly, they don't have love. They don't display love. They don't,
Name names. Just kidding.
they might
Here,
have a little bit, but they need to grow it. And
this is
love to me is acceptance. So yeah,
that's beautiful.
yeah,
Love is acceptance.
you have to accept someone to
Beautiful.
love.
Yes, if you don't accept someone, there's no love. That's simple and true. And me, I've been leaning in. How can I love? How can I love this person? I know I can. I know there's a way to find a way to love someone, and I can do that. Sometimes you got to get creative, and you got to ask yourself, but actually, I think Steelman hit on it. The purpose, the reasoning behind being creative and giving yourself an excuse to love someone who's just unlovable. It's the utility of that, because it's my life. And if I'm going to have a perception of someone in my head, in my memory, I don't want it to be unpleasant. I mean, there can be unpleasant memories, but it doesn't mean I have to hold that person as as a symbol of unpleasantness. That's exactly what people did with me.
But the ultimate goal is to accept and love that person, or is the ultimate goal for you to be loved when you're doing that?
No, we love not for the return, but for the act, because love is our natural state. Love is who we are.
So you can be in a situation like Job, where a series of bad things happen because you're too nice or you're too forgiving or too accepting. Yeah. And then what?
My story. Yeah, it's my story. I found faith in the midst of the losses. That's where I found my faith and my love of God, because it was literally the only thing I had left.
So by giving Snafu a wrench today, and you know he has his good days and bad days, is that an act of love for you?
I have been trying to figure out
Good
Snafu
question.
and Stephen. I would say yes. My choice to give Snafu a wrench was out of love, not to enable him, but to provide him a little bit of protection. Why? I don't know. But
The guy's
I guess
punching you in
keep
the
him
face
around.
sometimes.
Because he keeps getting timed out by everyone. Saying
It's
stupid
weird.
shit.
With him, it's like kiss or slap, kiss or slap, you know? Sometimes he can be completely cool. Other times he is the mucus of the internet.
Yes.
So I think most people
Yep.
would just say forget you and ignore him
Yeah.
and drop off.
But
Yeah.
this reminds me something I think Ricardo had said. It reminded me of A Course in Miracles. Every exchange, every interaction with another human being, it is an offering of love or it's a crying out for love. And I see Snafu and others, they're crying out for love. People have been very quick, reasoned, push them away, you know. But I see a lot of these people, especially the men. I don't excuse them. I don't make excuses for them, but they're carrying around shit, right? They've been wounded. They're like these dogs that have been kicked and beaten, and you know, they're just not the same as the one that grew up in, you know, playing fetch and being
Like
loved.
abused puppies.
Yeah.
It's
Kind of how I
interesting
see it.
about
Chips on their shoulders.
the same thing could happen. The same traumatic incident could happen to Ricardo and to me.
Yep.
But
Mhm.
the way that we have dealt with it, processed it, could mean a world of difference between us. That's really interesting to me. And I asked a therapist one time, I said, how come like one lady could be raped and be just fine, pretty much not have issues with it, you know, not be unaffected, but just
Right.
not have
All
recurring
the,
horrible
I
things
think
that
it all
happen to
depends
her.
on
And then
your reactions to what you're going through.
yes, it does, but how do you
not to overreact and not to underreact.
right, but
But
how do
yeah,
you control your reaction to trauma when it's happening to you at the time? You know, how does lady number one do just fine with it? Lady number two is like, it's the end of the world and I can never, you know, do anything again.
well, I don't fully understand trauma. I'm sure I've experienced some, but maybe not
Why I
as
ask
much
that,
as some others. So I don't know.
Here, trauma is something I've been fascinated by and I've been blessed. I'm no expert, but
Complex, I think.
I feel like I cleaned myself out of my own shit, my own trauma. The question you asked, this is actually, there's science and evidence that supports a lot of this, how trauma works. How does one person get affected in one way and another? It's not just their past preparation, past life experiences that prepare them for that incident. It's
Genetics.
also the recovery. What type of support type of support is there for that person as they're trying to recover from it?
Yeah.
Much of trauma is from feelings of abandonment. People have been hurt and they feel like, or they don't have anywhere to go. And so
So
they
these
having
two
trust.
people have had horrible instances of abandonment. They were both left as children by their mothers when they were 5. Does that make it okay for person B, who deemed that to be the most terrible thing, to be an asshole to everybody, but person B has it under control and he doesn't have to take it out on everybody and be an asshole? Why do we excuse the people that have some kind of mental illness or trauma or something like that and not hold them accountable? You know, because we've all been through some kind of trauma or some kind. Many
Yeah.
of us have been able to still be nice to other people, to still be polite, to be helpful without being super critical, etc. I mean, you know, where do we draw the line here
Well,
and hold people
Can I
responsible?
offer an answer?
Sure.
I think it's down to I think it's down to forgiveness. Like if you can, again, acceptance. If you can accept what you've done and forgive yourself and forgive them for whatever they've done, then you free yourself and you're free to, your heart's as light as a feather and you're free to carry on again.
What you said, Lindsay, and yes, forgiveness is the key. Forgiveness is actually the message of the gospel. It's the lesson that the Christians are supposed to be teaching and sharing. Forgiveness brings the miracles of freedom. And Lindsay, what you described, you're right. We've got a world right now where it enables problems. We've got a world right now that enables oppression, that enables genocide. We've got a very sick and twisted world right now. This is what we're starting with. It doesn't mean that's what we're going to end up with, because I am confident that the answers and the tools for healing are here and now. Through the advancements in study and communication, I'm just a simple guy, right? I didn't go get an accredited official education, but I've been learning a lot. And we have here on Earth at this time, we've got all the answers we need to help each other overcome addictions, overcome especially these habits and traumas. We can overcome all of this. So literally, Lindsay, the part of the reason I'm behind this goal of trying to get control of the US government, we can reform these things. The communities can change, the healthcare systems, the education systems, all of these systems can change so easily. But people don't think they can change.
They have to change. They can't stay the same. So there's no other choice.
Brother, thank you. That's the truth. Because the reality is, we can like it or not, we can complain about it and fight it just like little children, but the world is changing. Everything changes. We all change. And change is beautiful, man. Change is glorious.
Yeah. Can be.
Okay.
I believe. Please go ahead.
Well, I'm just addressing Venus. She seems like a sweet girl in chat. She's got a wrench, and she's saying, Jack, you know, Snafu is abusing his wrench, and I'm actually, like I said, I actually have been advocating for a wrench, non-wrench abuse for the last 3 months,
Right.
and so how do we do this? So basically, like Lindsay pointed out, if you're dealing with a narcissist, they will abuse you to death. And we're going to say, well, Jesus pointed out that apparently you have to let a narcissist kill you. And with Snafu getting a wrench, we're kind of saying, yeah, you just got to let a narcissist kill you. Is that what we're trying to teach her?
Well, I'm trying to see where it was abused. Because see, a lot of people.
I'm just saying in general, like, how far do we take this love and forgiveness? Because, like, even though I know, and I'm with you, 7 times 70, you know, Jesus sacrificed his life to forgive to the point of death and everything. But it becomes now these narcissists, they start abusing the people around us and everything.
Well, no, exactly.
Because of our love.
If there's abuse, we address the abuse. Now, just because someone said something, and I'm going back, I'm looking, I don't see where Snafu is abusing it, to be honest. So
Yeah, and I don't mean to make any allegations that aren't true. That was just
but
an
it was,
allegation.
yes, it was a moment and an opportunity. And the question, though, I agree. No, and to answer your question, no, we do not continue to arm and just enable oppression and abuse.
Mm.
I believe we've got the greatest chance when we unite together. Especially, you know what? Especially to the men. You know a friend or a coworker, and he's being a little rough on the wife or the kids or something like that. It's time to pull that guy aside, butt your nose into it, and at least ask some questions. For far too long, this is what I've seen throughout America. There's child abuse happening in some of the best neighborhoods, right? People are being brutalized and hurt and broken before they even make it out into society in some cases. And we call ourselves a healthy and civilized world. Well, my life has shown me that things are not as they seem, but if we want things to be better, there's nobody else to do it but us.
Mm.
And so what if this is the path? I mean, you guys are here with me. You may not return, you may go do your own path, but this is where my path is going. I'm convinced that the future of mankind, it requires us to be honest. It'll be the fulfillment of prophecy when we allow the truth to reign supreme rather than clowns like Donald Trump and others who worship the dollar as king.
Mm.
I got. Sorry, I'm getting a little preachy.
You're completely zoned out on my screen. You're frozen and your eyes are really big.
It's time to start flipping tables. So Jesus said.
Well, it is. I'm going to look more into this guy. It looks like James Tallarico. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but
Yeah.
time
I'd
to
love to
start.
see a picture. I'd love to see a picture or a meme of Jesus flipping tables. Like
Oh,
an
absolutely.
action shot. You know, like that'd be awesome.
Jesus fucking shit up.
Inspiring. I want to be inspired like that.
If you play with the ideas loosely, okay, the concept of the Capitol building here in DC being the place of worship. Here in the nation of America, the religion has become the government. We're worshiping the almighty dollar in that house. And so they have kind of taken the place of the money changers. They're saying, hey, if you want to participate, you got to do it with our coinage. You got to pay your taxes with our currency. You got to do your commerce with our currency, and you're not gonna survive in this land without our currency. That sounds like the money changers. So
you know what they say: render unto Caesar what is Caesar's.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what I want to do. I want to talk to the men and women of Congress to let them know what is theirs, their responsibility, their obligation, their duty as sworn men and women of Congress. They've got a duty to the greater population and to the preservation of our freedom and our true ways of life, not the corrupted ways of life. It's time to end this party system, right? The Democrats and the Republicans. Politics is for division. Division is for the oppressed. Let's stop dividing. Let's unite together with love. And Lindsay, here's where we swing it back in, right?
No.
Yep, it means we got to love people we don't know. We got to love people we don't like, at least long enough to make it through this life.
Would you be for a centrist party? or no parties
Centrist.
at all. Yeah, a centrist party, and if it had a leader who would make a good leader for a centrist party.
I want to completely reform and redefine what politics, economics, and religion.
Okay, so you're not asking for any party at all.
I want to change the whole world. So not so much a
Yeah.
party, but we will party. Dude, it's going to be such a party, dude.
I want a party.
Jack, I'm curious. Do you have a vision of what, like that would look like?
Yes.
Like how would things work?
Unfortunately, the descriptions I have cause people to get nervous. But, if you take the good ideas from wherever you find them, the UN actually has some decent ideas for uniting the world, overcoming the nation states, working together to eliminate poverty. If mankind looked at ourselves as one community all around the world, which we are, we've got global logistics. Our grocery shelves are stocked with stuff from all around the world. I open my pantry, man, and I got stuff from all around the world in my house. So we're one huge family of people, and we're all divided by budgets.
Would you be okay with
family
a
of man.
socialist system over the current one that we have now? I know that you're not crazy about ideologies, parties, etc. But
Anarchy
what
is
you're
the only
talking
way.
about is okay.
Anarchy.
Sure, true.
For me.
I'll give you that. But their socialism could represent an idealistic notion of some kind of egalitarian, everybody is helped, one collective kind of thing. Would you be happier or more satisfied with a socialistic government here in the United States than anything we have now, or do you think that's not really the problem at large?
It comes down to interpretations of those words, because my views on workers' rights may be viewed as socialist, right? Because it blows my mind that America allegedly ended slavery and yet still today denies workers a fair voice at work, right? We've got so many employers that are these free right to work states. It's right to be fired without any reason. So workers' rights have been oppressed completely here in America. The only improvements we've had for like the overtime, the weekends, even any of the benefits we have, the federal protections, OSHA, the safety standards, everything we've got in America has come from the blood, sweat, and tears of organizers, men and women who petitioned and worked not just their jobs to get this nation improved. Because America, not just did we have slaves, but we had child labor here in America too. So
Hey, yeah, I just wanted to say good to see you to the Machine Lies, man.
yes,
Yeah, blessings. Yeah.
brother.
Hey, TMO.
Hey,
We've had some
Welcome.
amazing conversations, and I'm glad you're here, my friend. We were talking about love and politics and everything else, I guess.
And semantics and snafu.
Your question, though, I'm reluctant to say yes, a more socialized society is what I want because of the way those terms have been used and twisted in the past. What I am truly about is the end of secrecy. I had a lot of emotions I had to process, especially after raising my hand to serve the military industrial complex as a child. I voluntarily played that part. Once I started learning about the true secrecy and the true corruption of this land that I was so proud of, I'm sure that we are, as masses, we are being mocked by the evil ones, being paraded around and ordered around through the schoolyards, and then the voting lanes, and we're being told what to do and treated like chattel. That's the correct word. Chattel slavery. We're treated
Peons.
like things. But what if we stop acting like it? Right? What if we stop acting like the obedient and governed and the timid? I'm asking that question and it's being answered. It's happening in the world. The world is waking up. People are moving past their insecurities and their fears. There's more and more men and women standing up. I mean, I didn't see the news, but I know there was a big lots of people left the house over the weekend. No King's Day came up, right?
No kings. Hey, Jack said something about I'm stuck on this love theme with Lindsay. Got to get the love into Lindsay tonight.
Oh
Lindsay,
no.
you,
Go on.
I'm not giving up on you, Lindsay. Jack said something about we got to learn to love people we don't like, and I wondered, right? Because what was coming to mind for me is like, do you have perhaps a family member who you love, who you want the best for, but you wouldn't actively seek out their company? You may not particularly like them.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah, the
understand
brother.
your point 100%. I just argue that there could be a better word. Somebody else gave you a better word, and you said, "Yeah, that's it, compassion," and that resonated with you. I say love is just a little too strong for that kind of thing.
It's just
Okay.
a thought. Because
That's
for
all.
me, that particular scenario, I was like, oh my, yeah, that's a real love. If I'm Irish, I've got about 700 cousins. It's like some of them
In
I
mod-
don't ever want to be around. But if I got a phone
Absolutely.
call tomorrow that something had happened, I'd be like fucking devastated because I love them. I just don't necessarily like a lot of the characteristics. But it was just a thought, so I just
But you
wanted
have
to throw it around.
but you have compassion. You have compassion for them, Trexty.
Well, in that scenario, I would go further. I definitely no. There's love there. It will be a much. It's not just I want you to be okay. It's like, oh, there would be a sense of real loss if anything happened. It's if I'm exploring it as an idea. But yeah, no, it was just something I wanted to open up with Lindsay.
Women, God, got to change this back to politics, please. I'll
No.
talk to you.
Lindsay,
What kind of politics?
Lindsay, come on now.
Actually, I love that. Made my
Female
heart
politics.
smile because
Yeah.
Lindsay, yes, I can see Lindsay just filled with love, overflowing with love, just not knowing what to do with all the love she's got. She'll just give it to anybody.
Oh boy.
Boy.
Nice, get her, Jack.
Yeah, clip that.
Right?
Thanks a lot, Jack.
Oh
That's a
no.
good little quote.
Cute.
I guess we
Not to
could
be
go back
taken
to
out of context.
autocracy. I mean, I don't mind talking about that anymore.
I get what you're saying though. The term love. It's you know what? A lot of words, a lot of things in this life. People don't really think about what it is we're saying. But the funny thing is with love, the way I am now, I used to be completely opposite. I had such commitment issues. I was so afraid. The last relationship I had, we dated for about 5 years before I even said I love you.
Why?
I didn't feel I was being honest. So I wouldn't say it. Well, but that was cruel.
There's some
I
things,
was
not
afraid.
really. It was on. Would you rather be playing with a full deck of cards, knowing full well what you're dealing with, or would you rather try to decipher the truth based on a cute little lie?
Well, she was lying, but
Mm.
yeah.
She had a lot of love in her. No, I
Um,
mean, have you ever sat down to write something to somebody, like a card or something, and there's a cute little poem in the room and in the middle, but it seems just not poignant enough. It seems to undersell who they really are to you. You know, roses are red, violets are blue. You make the sky shine. I love you. Whatever.
Yeah, it's
But have you
cheesy.
ever sat down and the things that you think of are absolutely ineffable. There are no words for them. Our language is very limited, and
mhm,
like you said, agape, if I'm pronouncing it right, is a word that means seven different leads to seven different meanings of the word love.
Yeah.
But can't we get any more creative? I mean, we've already invented a bunch of words. Why not pile on some more? Then we quit using the ones that are these amorphous terms that mean so much and applying them to everything and everybody.
I think it's time to get creative with the way we show our love rather
Mhm.
than just say it. I think that's the direction the world is going. I really do.
There's already a theory for that called love languages. Have you heard that?
I have.
Mm.
Yeah.
I've not dug deep
Yes.
into it, but I know there's value in that. You've looked into a number of those things, haven't you? Is that one you look much into?
Love languages I looked a little bit into, and I found it interesting because you can find many people in your life who you think, well, I know they love me, but they don't say so, or they may not tell you
Mhm.
in the way that you want to hear it or need to hear it, but they
Mm.
show you in other ways. And so it helps you kind of understand why those people in your life, that you want to hear I love you from,
Yeah.
show it in other ways and how that works for them. And that makes sense.
Well, and so there you go, too. You're well aware that different people show even their good qualities in different ways. And so why are we so quick to carry around an image of someone as an enemy? I mean, I know I've done this and I don't mean to sound stupid, but I don't do it anymore and I don't remember why I would.
Didn't Jesus say to love your enemies?
Yes. And there's so
So
much logic in that.
Well,
This
what
is what
you keep saying on here, I interrupted you again. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, please.
I've heard you say many times, okay, we're on, I need to focus. We're on the topic of why is it so easy to think of people as enemies?
Mhm.
And it was along those lines. Well, okay, this is what I didn't understand. This is a question for actually the entire panel. Do you agree or disagree with that saying that you often hear that people, the reason why they can't stand something about others is because they see it in themselves?
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's like you know,
Yep.
it's like I said to like the Satanist lady one day, right? I said, love and hate are not opposites. The opposite of love is indifference. She really hated that, right? And the reason was because they want to believe a duality between good and bad instead of one between love and hate, right? They believe that love is divine, right? So this is their whole entire approach. So the thing is that I think love, when connected to higher, values like faith, right, which I think is like courage, right? So you could have a general love, right, which is like faith, right, and then you could have a love that's, maybe concerned with the higher good, right? You could have a personal sense of love, right? So I think those are all love, right? Love for the greater country, right? Love of one's own, right? And also love in terms of faith, right? Or courage, right? So I think fear and you know goodness and all these things, they are inextricably linked with love itself, right? Whereas indifference being the opposite of love, I think it's like the bystander effect, right? How most people have a sort of numbness.
Indifference when they're in the middle.
Yeah, indifference to the general thing that's going on. It's the greatest sort of hatred you could have for everyone, right? So,
Well, that's how I feel about most people. Is just indifferent, Maybe if I get to know them a bit better and I see their good qualities and know their heart a little more, then I can actually see them as a real feeling person who I can maybe love. But until then, people are just unknown.
Yeah, I think love is linked with these other two things: honor and goodness. I'm not sure how though. But yeah, I partly tried to describe it, but yeah.
Well, I think it's easy to, kind of look at people and think that they're your enemy because, not to get too biblical, but, oh, sorry about that, guys. But basically, like, even if we don't say every inclination of man's heart is evil, which, the Bible might say, I'm not going to go there, but, every man is a liar and whatnot, we're not perfect and whatnot. I'm not trying to, I mean, and maybe some of us are perfectly imperfect and all that. We can go down that route. But what I mean is like, when I meet people, usually, if you get, the closer you get, it's like if you're gonna get robbed or something's gonna happen to you, it's gonna be someone close to you, right? So everyone that gets close to us pretty much ends up screwing us over at one point or another because we're kind of putting them in that position and they're imperfect
Inevitable.
or whatever. I don't know.
Expectations.
Yeah, and like power corrupts, and so you give somebody a little bit of power or a little bit of authority. And I don't know what, or whatever. Like, even when he was saying he was afraid to tell that woman he loved her, it's because when you say that from that perspective, like a Buddhist perspective, like love is an attachment. You're saying, I'm going to attach to you and I'm going to feel pain now without you. And you don't want to commit to that type of thing. You want to be free from love. You want just to accept. Yeah.
Yeah. One link between love and honor is shame, right? You wouldn't shame a bystander, right? You only shame somebody because, you're concerned with how they see you, right?
Love is a bird, and she needs to fly.
So that decision of Jack to tell that woman that he loved her, finally, after 5 years, was that a fear-based decision or was that a love-based decision?
Love.
That's at that point, like you're saying, it sounds like a letting go of fear-based decision is what it almost sounded like.
Yeah, allowing yourself to be vulnerable.
I was afraid. I was a very insecure man. I didn't realize how foolish I was. Someone was describing it right. My apprehension of saying love, I had the idea that love is this painful attachment, right? It wears you out. Someone people love you, they're just gonna take shit, right? That's what I thought. But I've learned since, once I stopped looking for love outside, once I started recognizing the love that any love I feel, it's going to be from me. Other people might be the catalyst. They might be the inspiration for me to feel the love, but it's all going to come through me. So once I started noticing that, I started giving, in meditation and time, I spent a lot of time observing and trying to identify the feelings and the qualities of love. Because I was pretty intimate with the feelings and the qualities of anger. I mean, I could describe that shit real quick. But love is this power. In the absence of our stress, in the absence of our worries, in the absence of our discomfort, that's where love is. I mean, it starts there, and then it becomes this overwhelming power, right? That it'll take us over. But to me, just the absence of worry and discomfort, that peace, That peace is my evidence of love, because when you're with someone you love, you feel that. You feel like there's no worries, there's no stress, there's no problems. And if we can incorporate that feeling, loving life when you're alone, that way when you're with others, it's not a codependent relationship where two people are latched on, afraid to let go, afraid to be by themselves because it's miserable. No. I finally learned to love myself. I'm convinced I'm going to convince the rest of the world to do that too.
That's good stuff. It's good stuff, Jack. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Somebody has a question for TML. I don't know if you're reading chat.
That
No,
relates to
please.
what Lindsay said. Really, it's like, like if you hate somebody, like, is that something you see in yourself, or, well, yeah, it's like cliche, but yeah, you can't love anyone if you don't love yourself, like Jack said. So definitely,
Yeah, that never really meant something to me until
I've had huge problems with that with females. Where like, they don't really want to believe that I'm in love with them or whatever, or whatever like that. Like I don't like, because they hate themselves. And you could tell that they hate themselves, probably because of like, usually it's like body dysmorphia or something like that. But a couple of
how
times
could
it's
you
like
love me?
trauma
You
and
must
stuff.
be lying.
Yeah. But a couple of times it's like actual traumatic shit.
Yeah. But you nailed it. And what came to my mind was our earlier guest, Stephen. Low self-worth.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fucking idiot.
The pattern of low self-worth, it creates these walls of insecurity and it pushes people away. And that's what Stephen's doing.
No, what Stephen's doing now is clipping this for his Team Evil fucking.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Love you, Steve.
Hey, there was a question for you though, TML, from Dr. D Head. Are you familiar with Gerald Jimbalski? Love is letting go of fear.
No, I've not heard of that. Yeah, I'll look into that and give a little a short commentary on that on my next show. And for you, Dr. D Head, blessings. Thank you for that.
Much love is letting go of fear. I mean, just that alone, that title, that makes sense. And you think about, this is totally abstract, but something I picked up along the way. If you think about all these books, you go to bookstores or libraries, there's thousands and just tons of books. But really, every one of those books, the author is going to spend some time and usually find some sort of identity lesson in that title. And that title right there. Letting go of love is letting go of fear. That's a lesson in itself, just in the book title.
I'd like to see what AI has to say about love, and it could be as convincing as coming from the pen of a wordsmith.
I wonder, can AI write poetry? Is that possible?
Rhyming
You can write song lyrics, I guess. So,
what would we ask?
Beautiful poetry. Go on, Lindsay.
What would we even ask?
We would ask, what is love? And would the answer sound convincing?
Define
would this
love.
AI seem to have some kind of sentient notion of what love was? I wonder.
How about define love in poetic terms?
Yeah.
There's a question.
It's not rhyming. Rhyming is easy. Prosaic. It would need to be prose.
Prose. Yeah.
To divine love in perfect terms requires language that reflects its divine, eternal, and unchanging nature. There we go. Not merely emotion or attachment, but the very essence of existence and being. A layered definition.
Right. Yeah, that goes kind of with what I was saying, right? That love is
Yeah.
more than just relational, right, or whatever, right? It's got a quality where you could have love by yourself, but it could be with everything, right? I don't know.
Yes.
But if I asked
Well,
any one of you
Love
what
of
love
the
is,
universe.
you would not come out with an answer that is as stiff as that.
well,
know what I
Lindsay, I
mean?
would say that. Well, Jesus said that the greatest form of love is to lay down our lives for one another, and he's getting to the epitome of it. That this is actually down to a spiritual thing. The live without fear thing. You have to be living without fear of death, right? And then you can give up everything. You have to be like the rich man who gives up everything to follow Jesus, including your life, right? He who clings to his life will lose it, type thing. You have to be willing to love to the point of death, give up everything, give the shirt off your back, throw your silver out into the streets, love one another unconditionally and with all your heart, as basically the first commandment. If you sum up all the commandments, it's love one another. And if you just do that, everything, the kingdom of heaven will come down on earth.
Yes.
Wow.
It's
That's powerful.
it is the way it works. I mean, these answers actually, I was glancing through it, and these are pretty solid. Love, my first one-word answer is love is a relationship, but like TML and others have pointed out, it's beyond just that. The
Have
pure.
you ever
Go ahead.
looked up the answers for little kids like age 3 to 8 or so when you ask them what love is? Because it's also pretty cute and pretty accurate. Just
Kids
wondering.
know,
Yeah.
right? Kids. This is the thing. The truth comes through us all. It doesn't require age or an education. There's a chance for truth to flow through us all. But this right here, the essence of love, the pure awareness of unity. The pure awareness of unity.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's a good
I
quote.
love that.
I'll take
Yeah.
that. I'll take that, man.
Absolutely. And then
Very
the scripture, God is love. Whoever abides in love abides in God, and God abides in him. And that's what Jesus was saying. I and the Father are one. He walks with love. He abides in love. And love abides in him.
infinite. Love is unconditional, self-existent, and infinite. Infinite. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a really good word.
That would make a good card for your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Keep that.
Right.
She'll marry you.
She'll marry you then.
Now compare that to a 4-year-old's answer, which is when dad comes through the door and he stinks and mom kisses him anyway.
Oh,
It really
yeah.
is the same thing.
Yeah, it is. It is. I like this too, because the Bible talks about Jesus being perfected with love. So the nature of perfect love, not born of human heart, but of divine mind, the eternal spirit within all creation. It's fearless because it recognizes no enemy, no threat, no loss. There is no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. And this is what I mean. I've been practicing this love for no reason, love despite the reasons, and you don't fear much, really. And consider this. I love this answer from AI. The function of love. Love's purpose is to reveal itself.
Yeah, I think it
God
may
is-
be sort of plagiarizing the Symposium by Plato, right? Because that's kind of what the Symposium of Plato says too, right? Revealing of beauty is a function of love or whatever. To give birth to beauty, right?
That's beautiful. And consider, if God is love, God's purpose is to reveal itself and the beauty. That is what love does, man.
It's derivative.
The human expression of love. Love is the light that animates. I love that too. Love is the eternal presence of God recognizing itself in all things.
That's beautiful.
these ideas on love, my thought here and now is thank you. Thank you to all of you on the panel. Thank you to all of you who are tuning in. I feel blessed to be. This is how I'm spending my Monday evening, right?
Me too.
Discussing
Pretty good.
love with fellows and
With people you
sisters.
hate.
No, man. There is no hate. And the thing that Machine Lies, brother, you have that mind of philosophy. I just truly I love listening to you.
Yeah, thank you, brother Jack. The feeling is mutual.
Thank you. Well, what you just reminded me though, this wisdom, the answers have been around forever. There's no reason for our society to walk around as stupid as we are. There really isn't. And yet, we can't deny the world is the way that it is. People are filled with greed and anger and shame and guilt, and we live in a very reactive society. And the world is dividing. This is the time, guys. I keep hearing it explained from different messages and stuff. This is the time of the divide, the separating the wheat from the tare. I believe that we are the good crop. I mean, after all, we're sitting around on a Monday evening discussing love together, right? Seems to be on the right path.
Hey, Jack, I'm going to love you and leave you.
It's late.
Yeah,
Much love to you.
my dog's starting to get moany, but this has been lovely.
We
This
need a
has
palate
been.
cleanser. It's too much love.
Give your
Oh,
dog some.
Come
Give
on,
your dog some
Lindsay.
love from me.
All right, all right.
yes. Trexty,
Good night.
thank you very much. And
Yeah, chat
a
to you
nice
soon. Good
cuddle.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Love
Yeah.
you, Lindsay.
Love you
Like
too.
Trexty.
Good night,
See
everyone.
you,
Cheers.
Trixie.
Take care.
her
Cheers.
dog JC is a beautiful beast as well. And JC is well loved. So yeah, go tend to your beast.
Bye.
This well, here. What are you guys feeling? You feel like we should keep going? Should we start wrapping up? Any ideas, thoughts, or feelings?
I have thoughts.
Please.
Always.
Okay. Well, let's flush these out.
I
If
can't
that's all right.
not have thoughts.
Ooh.
Okay, the other day somebody was thinking about solutions to this problem of, this Armageddon-like life that we have in politics. That's putting it, histrionically, I realize, but the solutions for world peace, so to speak. And they were asking legitimately, who are the biggest corporate lobbyists? Because that's how to affect change. And so I was starting to think along the lines of, okay, oil companies, Chevron and this. And then I thought, oh God, we are the strongest lobbyists because we're complicit with what's going on, and because if we would come together, we would be stronger than any corporation in effecting change. But for some reason, we haven't gotten there yet. But I thought that was some decent thinking. If we are the greatest lobbyists, what are we doing in complacency with Chevron, et cetera, who are right now technically the biggest lobbyists? That
When
was
you
my
say
thought.
we, sorry, who did you mean by we? Did you mean like the consumer?
We, the people in the United States who are, or Europe, wherever you're from, who
We the
are
people.
going, thank you,
Yes.
who are going
So
along
yeah,
with things that we don't agree with, like the huge tariffs from against other countries,
Mhm.
or huge, taxes, property taxes for ourselves, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever we're complaining about.
okay, well, to me,
We can't
that's kind
blame
of different because,
Chevron.
I mean, and I think it's interesting. Yeah, the consumer who spends the dollar, right? A dollar is actually a vote, a political vote, wherever you spend it. But But that's different because what you're talking about is tariffs, right? How are we supposed to address tariffs as the consumer? Like, how do we have any power to address tariffs?
Well, you're asking me a question that I would need to sit down, have time to think about. But right now, what's going on is the No Kings, protesters things, and that's a way, at least, to get the ball rolling for people who are saying the president is autocratic. At least they're lobbying or protesting in some way that's they're getting out there, they're getting news, they're getting media attention.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I wasn't trying to come at you. Yeah. So protesting is like, one way of like combating tariffs. But so are you kind of just talking about how like,
and how would I personally try to combat the exorbitant tariffs? Well, I have to sit down and think about that. I like the question, but I don't have anything pithy and impressive to come up with right in the here and now.
Well, the thing is, here's why, because
tell me.
Well, yeah. So you have all these like right wing, loyalists, so to speak, or so-called right wing loyalists that are so far right that they end up at the left side of fascism. But I'm not, I don't mean to get into my political, discussions, like stomping anyone's toes. I'm just saying that they're all arguing, we love tariffs, whatever Trump says, we love. And so if he says, whatever it is, whether it's tariffs or whatever, we love it. And then you have to combat half of the consumers, right? You're saying we the people. Well, half of we the people, or a large part of them, are actually for this whole fascist state and all that stuff. So how do you combat that?
But what's down the road? What happens when the tariffs actually kick in and the small businesses and big businesses have to charge more just to make a living, and the dollar isn't worth as much? I mean, it'll be realized.
These people are so bright. These people are so blinded and brainwashed by their politics that they will literally march everyone to the death camps in their suits before and still won't even wake up. So they're not going to be concerned about a tariff or a tax or a high price or a lost job or anything like that.
Well, then we're in the same old dilemma, saying that we can't and we won't and we don't, and just complaining. Then then it's not going to get done. So
well, the question is. I believe it is based on the reality we're facing. We've got a very divided nation, very divided world. And what you're saying is, I think what you're saying is we as the people can do a better job of being the lobbyists. My past experiences, right, as a postal union guy, paid attention to politics, paid attention to labor, right? I spent a lot of time picketing, trying to educate the community on some of the things that we were dealing with, things we were seeing, attacks on the service, at the postal service, because of the corporate greed. We spent a lot of time in the streets trying to picket, educate the community, educate the congressmen. The point is, I don't know what is or is not being done behind the scenes, but the evidence out there in the streets, I agree, Lindsay. If I got a chance to speak to the men and women of Congress, that's exactly what I'd be pointing to, is those lobbyists, all those people who left the comfort of their day, the routine of their family and their careers, and they went out to the streets because they don't like what's going on. So the idea is we take every protest and every civil action, it's the result of a breakdown in communication. So the idea is to use these breakdowns as evidence that, hey, here is the solution. You communicate with me, we're going to communicate the answers together, and we're going to make some changes. And I'm telling you guys, I have.
Look at history, say you take the fiefdom days. They convinced everybody under royalty that they were plebeian, that they were unintelligent, that they didn't have any redeeming features, that they needed to be subject to the royals. And they believed it and they bought it, and therefore they would give a certain percentage of their pay or whatever it was to the kings or the monarchy or whatever. How did we end that? Didn't we create laws against these instances of abuse? And then what happened with that? Well, they were overridden. So how are we supposed to overcome that kind of mentality and that kind of
Well, there's something else we created with the laws, right? When we got rid of the kings, and those are systems, right? Sometimes those systems are more oppressive than those kings, right?
Yep.
So it's unfortunate that we didn't see that at the time when we created those systems. But
Like capitalism? What systems
yeah,
are you
sure.
talking about?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. That's one of them. But also I think parliamentary,
Yep.
style of government.
Yeah.
The old tyranny of the majority. Even the people who created it saw it. So, that could, it has a possibility for autocracy as well.
Well, this is exactly what it's not exactly, but what I'm hearing is precisely what I've been looking at. We've got corrupted systems. The systems that have evolved from the royalty, they're in many ways more oppressive than having a king or a queen. But people have become so loyal to these systems and to their interpretations of the systems. All of these rules, that's what these systems are. It's just man-made rules that we agree on, and under the agreement, then we have order. But all of these agreements, all these laws, all the legislators, they keep writing all of these laws, and every law is open to interpretation. So that's the reason there's so much wiggle room for the state to take its power and grow its power. It's got all these opportunities for loopholes. The loopholes work because the system is designed for division. But this is where the messages of Jesus, the prophecies, all of these things come together. If we stop lying to each other, stop coming up with excuses of why we can't talk to each other, why we can't get along, if we start talking together and working together without secrets and lies, dude, this world, there are so many amazing and incredible humans alive. There's already people working on cleaning up the trash out of the oceans, working on trying to recover the pollution and reduce all these problems that mankind has created. I went on, and there was something I wanted to swing back to. Sorry, Lindsay. But the idea is, I see it. We have everything, we being the people alive today, we have everything we need. If we can combine the willingness together, we get the right ideas, the right people. You got a well-informed minority, they execute cooperatively and united, we can change this whole world very, very quickly.
Yeah, and I think the problems are all technological. The solutions are all ecological. I firmly believe that. I mean, we have to come back to nature, come back to the earth. I mean, instead of the man-made. I think that's what nature and God is trying to tell us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That
nature has all the solutions. We just forgot them.
Yes. And the thing is
they're still there.
Yes, thank you. That's the key. The answers are still there. And all the signs are pointing to the fact that, hey, mankind, it's time to change, right? It's time to break away, maybe do a little bit of fasting and get some self-control regarding the relationship with each of us in technology, each of us in sugars and all these chemicals, all this crap we bombard into our food, into our bodies every day. We are living at such an amazing time, guys. I woke up today, I told you, I felt a little internal shift, and I know it's just me, but I do feel like we are in this in between. We are through the past ways. The past ways are crumbling. The past ways here in America, the citizens united with the corporations buying our options and the ballots and all of this crap, back to the lobbyists, right? It's time for us to change this. And I feel, well, guys, I know I'm just one guy. I'm just one man, but I tell you what, if I'm not lying to myself, I feel completely like I am on a path, and this path is going to lead me to speak to Donald Trump and to the men and women of Congress. And then from there, we're going to work together. America is going to lead the rest of the world into peace and reforms. It'll be kind of we'll show the world how it's done, how to take care of its citizens, how to end the infighting within the nation. We're going to work together to overcome the diseases and the obesity and the poverty and the homelessness. And then we're going to really work together to start educating each other's children better, so the next generation has a better start than we do. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, that's actually homeschooling is one way. Speaking to Lindsay's kind of question or points too, is that if we really want to make a change in the system, because that's what Lindsay, when you're talking about like Jack's got his like mission maybe that he was appointed, but that's not for everyone, right? Like we're not all going to go meet face that type of burden, right? So because even when and then we get on our smaller scale, even going down to your city council and stuff, it like becomes a hassle. And then like they're only open like once a week, and then they're like only let you in if you get on the list, and you can only speak for 5 minutes, and then they won't even let you speak. So then you got to try and file a lawsuit for fucking freedom of speech. And it's just and it's like
and you set your car on fire.
Yeah, and it's like, so how much can you consume? And so when you guys were talking about it, I was thinking, I didn't want to sound like just too poetic, but I think that it's not necessarily, the problems are out there, but the solutions are within, right? And I believe that instead of going out trying to, for everyone, right? For some people, maybe I've had that moment where I was like, if I just continue to radiate this vibration that I'm on, when you can reach that vibration, you can be in your home and you can change things that aren't inside your home. You know what I'm saying? You can attract things. That vibration just radiates, and if you can get that vibration to radiate, and you get that vibration alone is enough to change the world. Is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? That you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to speak to anyone. If you can just find that vibration and hold on to it, then I think that you can just problems.
I think we need like groups of people and some big ass relics or something.
I'm certainly feeling that vibration here. I'm feeling the love in this room tonight, and there's no trolls, so that's probably why we're all genuine.
And to the Machine Lies point, I was on psychedelic mushrooms when I had that experience, so fair enough, right? Fair enough.
That's no excuse.
but it did manifest. I was like, I was in there on the mushrooms, and I was like, it'd be cool if there was like a nice girl here to talk to, right? And I was like, instead of going out and I was like, but I'm on such a vibration right now that I could actually just get a girl to come to my house without ever even going anywhere. And then I never called anybody or anything like that. And then all of a sudden, my homie shows up and he's like, "Hey, I was walking your house and I saw this girl and I brought her with me." And I was like, "Yeah, that's that vibration,
Brilliant.
Wow, dude.
You're attracted to like a magnet.
Well, there is science. There's been studies, and I know some people call this woo-woo and they still don't want to accept it, but there is science in the power and effect of coherence. You get people together, the same intent, the same energy, like the same prayer and focus,
same vibration.
It does. This is the realm we live in. It is frequencies, energies, and vibration, and the power of
higher realms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that, Lindsay?
I was just saying, in Steel Man's case, pheromones.
Pheromones too.
Yeah.
Testosterone.
These bodies, these human bodies, they really are very mysterious. There are so many unseen variables that affect our chemistry, our biology, our minds, how we operate. It really is a miracle that we make it through each day. I mean, at least in my life, I'm lucky to make it back to bed without hurting myself some days, it seems. You know?
Yeah, me too.
It's
Me
like,
too.
That
Yeah.
sounds terrible.
it's kind of true. But I
You
man,
gotta quit doing that peyote.
no. Oh, well, the drugs too, actually. It goes,
The drugs don't work.
I had some intellectual breakthroughs when I was using mushrooms. There's healing
yeah.
properties to these plants. It goes back
Absolutely.
to the ancient knowledge.
Yes.
Actually, my hope is I mentioned that I've got a guest that will soon be showing up, and that's her specialty, actually. Her
Yeah,
and
the
her
plant-
husband, plant
Awesome.
medicines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
I'm a
wanted to know
proponent
if
of
she was
that.
attractive, of course, because that was the most important thing.
Right. Well,
This is YouTube.
we'll see what happens. But holy cows.
Yeah, I found huge benefit from both edible cannabis and mushrooms in terms of trying to explore my own psyche.
Absolutely. I
Okay,
can attest to that.
devil's advocate. Your body's a temple.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
And
doesn't
so is
that-
nature. Your
Yes.
nature's
So
divine.
take it to the highest realms.
Are you sure this is no cap?
I don't think
God
it
would,
is.
God would want us to do drugs?
Yeah, the only
Well,
caps I'm
Lindsay-
talking about is gold caps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but psychedelic, you need to understand something, Lindsay. Psychedelics aren't drugs. They're chemical keys to unlocking higher dimensions of reality.
But I know I'm on the unpopular side here, but your lungs, they like air, not
Mhm.
Yeah.
plants, not smoke, not what I mean.
Oh yeah,
That always
But-
confused me.
yeah. I think
But the sacred mushroom
edible
uses-
cannabis is
Bit of smoke's
is
cool,
far
though.
superior. I mean, it's far superior if you eat it.
Yeah, we're not advocating for smoking anything right at this point.
Of course not.
Just eating.
I'll
Yeah, the
be the
sacred-
one doing all the
Well-
smoking then.
How do you like being
Here.
so completely out of control, though?
Right.
So can I touch on this?
I'm in a
just for
controlled
second?
setting. Yeah, of course.
Honest
Oh yeah,
question.
setting and everything. That's great. That's right. And I don't mean to I'm not like. Yeah, but Jack was talking about the medicine people, and I don't know if some of you may have heard that. My major was in anthropology, in the study of sacred substances across. The anthropology of religion, actually. So when you study the different religions, you find out that the religions are each centered around a different sacrament. And so to Lindsay's kind of questioning is that if you take Christianity back to its origins, it appears to be that the center of Christianity was actually a sacred mushroom cult, and that the body of Christ and the fruit of knowledge was all centered upon the sacred mushroom use. And that you don't, and so also, I don't feel that you become less in control necessarily. I've actually felt more sober in my entire life, right? Than I felt like when we're not under these sacred substances, that we're actually veiled, we're actually in less control, we're not actually like fully conscious. But when you lift the veil, then you can become conscious, then you become more aware and awake.
Isn't it fascinating?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm glad we're not in a court of law, because that would be very debatable. But I'm not necessarily against it.
Well, and to tell you the truth, I mean, I'm pretty notorious for debating that topic. So,
Right.
I don't want to bore anybody to death with that. I actually I did write the book called The Origins of Religion that centers upon this and how all the other religions were stemmed out of this. And then,
Nice.
I made a documentary that you can find, but I would love to talk with you anytime, including now.
Yeah, you're
if
the
you have
only
any
other
questions.
person I've met on here that's written a book. Maybe we can trade books. I mean, right? Like I have a
Yeah.
PDF version of my book, and I'd love to acquire a copy of that that book you've written, Steelman. Right?
Yeah,
A
we'll
lot
do that
of
in
us had
Discord.
to write books. I wouldn't want.
Yeah, so
anybody
would
to
I. I'd like to read that too. Sounds
Yeah,
really
sounds
interesting.
dope. Yeah, sounds
read
dope.
my
Yeah, he became infamous. He ended up on DPH clips. The Steelman, right? They did an attack video on him.
Oh,
of course,
really?
yeah, I could review that with you, Steel Man, and totally destroy that video if you want. I mean,
good
fuck
Oh
those
yeah,
stuff.
what'd
guys.
you say? What's DPA clips? I haven't heard of that before.
Oh man, I gotta send this to you. Yeah, they did an attack video
Oh.
on you. Yeah, I thought you had seen it, is what you're referring to. But yeah, I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Jack, I told you, we got to get you a Jack. We got to get a Live Without Fear Discord going so we can all exchange stuff in there. You know?
Oh well, you're in my Discord, so
Are you
Yeah,
saying
so-
you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
only
yeah.
decipher the
Mm.
truth, or that there is one if you're on, some psychedelics, and that
Oh,
we
sorry. What
have
was that, Lindsay?
some kind of blinds on us without
No, it's just the
psychedelics and we
fastest way to get there.
yeah, you definitely don't need them. Yeah, it definitely produces
Well-
effects that are
Not the only way.
that are available on your
No.
own. I think.
Now, they're advocating something differently than me, right? So I'm actually like what I consider to be a true Christian. I believe that we do need the body of Christ, and that he does lift the veil. We're Christ's bride, and he will lift the veil for us. We are veiled without that sacred body of Christ, and Jesus tells us at the Last Supper, very truly, I tell you, if you do not eat from my body, you have no life in you. And many of his disciples left him at that time. And I believe that the sacred mushroom is the only way to lift that veil. And
But what do you
and-
say
and
about
reach that Christ consciousness.
what do you say about Montezuma then? Right, because the mushroom was telling him to talk to Quetzalcoatl and sacrifice a bunch of people, right? Right.
Yeah, they did serve sacred mushrooms at Moctezuma's rituals
Right.
and whatnot.
So what do you think?
And
about
I'm not sure. I mean, heck, I don't want to make any spur of the moment commentary on that. I don't know. No comment.
It's
That's weird.
nothing to do
Jeff
with
wants
me.
to give out to chat members. Gonna hold a lottery or something.
Hey, actually, I am curious, Steelman. Do you mind giving a shout out for your documentary?
I think he said it's a book, not a documentary. But
Well, I thought he said both too.
oh, okay.
Oh yeah, because I know I don't like to read as much as I like to watch his videos, right? And it's called "The Origins of Religion,"
Oh, okay.
and I'll drop a link.
Please.
And it's "The Origins of Religion" as reference to sacred mushrooms is the subtitle there. It's more easily.
Did
comes up
you
that way
show
now.
this on your
And
channel
then-
before? And it has stuff about John Marco Allegro and stuff. Am I thinking of the same?
Yeah, so I have done some what are they called, like talks and stuff at like the university
TED
and stuff,
Talks.
presentations. That's what I call it, like PowerPoints and things where I did, which you might have also seen. And exactly, I just John Marco Allegro's book is very notable because John Marco Allegro actually handled the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Yeah, there's a
pieced them
guy.
together.
There's a guy called Jah Healing Comedic. You kind of got into a bad tiff with Paul Enslaved earlier, so that's kind of a bad situation there. But Jah Healing Comedic had like a church where they did like DMT and mushrooms. I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
And right up, yeah, he's a pretty interesting character, right? But he actually did
Awesome.
that. He's a fascinating dude. But yeah.
Oh yeah, you saw the OTW stream earlier. Is that what you were
Yeah.
referring to?
Oh well,
Yeah, I
I
got
was on the
blasted off
panel,
there.
Steel Man. I was there.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, I was on the panel. Yeah. I was just muted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jack. I didn't last 5 seconds.
Are you gonna tell
on
him
that
about
panel.
your-
Fun to watch.
Sorry about that.
That
What about that other book you wrote, Steel Man? The one about getting
Oh.
women to come to your house without trying?
Yeah, back to that.
Well, I'm still
It'll
working
work
on
for
getting
me.
Lindsay to come by. We'll see. Still trying to find that vibration.
Hey, you know what? I did not know that about you, Steelman, but that is pretty cool. You've definitely looked into some things that I am fascinated with, and I'm very interested in continuing.
Well, yeah. So Allegro, who actually handled the Dead Sea Scrolls, that's what's so interesting. He's not just somebody, right?
Right.
He actually
Right,
was
John
yeah,
Marco, John Marco Allegro. Yeah, he translated them. Right, exactly.
he handled them. Was appointed by governments to translate them because he was a Oxford graduate, Dead Sea Scrolls scholar, and basically one of the only people that had the credentials to do this. And when he translated the Dead Sea Scrolls, when they found them, he basically said, "Oh my gosh, look here, guys! It was actually a mushroom cult. It was a secret society based on sacred mushroom worship." And he wrote the whole book called "The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross" about it. And he retranslates the original text of the Bible to point out exactly how it'll fit.
That is, it's
But
fascinating.
hopefully, yeah, Lindsay. Sorry if we lost you, Lindsay.
She dropped. She may return. But
Yeah, she did leave right after you hit on her, so that was. So that
Yeah,
did
I'm like,
happen.
whoops. It was just it was a bad joke. Like, it didn't land very well.
No, that was
It's all good. It's all good.
maybe she's on her way. Who knows?
Oh yeah, I hit that vibration. See, there you go.
Attracting the beautiful women. She's foraging over. No. Hey, this concept again. You've got the experience and education. The idea of having these mushrooms, the psychedelics, opening our mind to different. When I'm assuming with Lindsay's feedback, she may not have experienced those herself yet. But it does. It opens the mind. It like unbreaks from these rigid belief patterns. And I heard her question, why does someone even want to do that? Put themselves into a state where they have no control? It is humbling. That was my experience. It humbled me to a lot of things.
Also, it can give you a true experience of chaos. You know, especially like I used to remember my early LSD trips, and just that initial rush is just like everything's just coming at you all at once, but it's like a Niagara of sensory overload. But it turns into something beautiful. You just got to keep it on the right vibe and go with the flow.
Yeah, and this is something. Obviously, it is. Illegal in certain states. Shouldn't be advocated. For anyone to break the law. Because it has serious consequences. So that's first and foremost. But if you could, but you could carry and grow the spores legally. So that is another thing that I will say. Hint, hint. Right. But another thing is that this whole thing. With the mushrooms. Right. It's interesting because you really do want to do them in kind of like a closed setting, right? With a close group of friends. Maybe they can keep an eye on you. Maybe people who have done it before. In solitude in nature. You don't want to go to like public spaces and sort of act a fool and take a lot of mushrooms or watch it or set yourself up for a sort of weird trippy experience at a haunted house or something like that.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Well, you do it, and that you're in a good mood when you start.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's interesting what you guys are talking about because those are kind of like that's when you're first doing them, right?
Setting.
And this is I think this is like the level of magicianry, right? The magicians were into magic mushrooms. That's the origins of magic. Is these magic mushrooms, and if you want to do real magic, you have to be on these mushrooms. But and you have these levels like novice, like the adept, like and then you get into like the higher levels until you become like a master, and then you become like whatever these levels of these secret societies for magicians are, right? And where I'm going with this, and on this level of religion and Jesus and whatnot, I truly believe that when you get into, we don't really do it nowadays, but when you get into the true level of spirituality and psychedelics, right? If you could actually get on them and eat them like every Sunday or whatever, or every day, pick up your cross and carry it every day and whatnot, you get into the true deep levels of true sorcery, right? And true magic and stuff where now you take it to the public. Now you can actually walk around and function on high levels, or you're taking higher and higher doses, like Kalindi I was talking about taking up to 20 grams in solitude, But when you can actually take like 5 grams into public and walk around, I've walked up to people while I was tripping, and they told me that I was making the walls move for them, and they were sober. That's how powerful this shit is.
Is that what they call a contact high? I've had those.
Yeah, and Jesus. So I'm saying Jesus was all about the if anything, either he. I'm not going to get into the details of what Jesus was, but I believe that he was someone who was a master of that. What do they call him? A sorcerer. So he was a master sorcerer, and his pharmaceutical was the sacred psilocybin.
Yeah, that's good magic, man. Good magic.
Oh, and so the way I found out about this is I was in the university going for political science, wanted to run for president, Jack. You'd have loved that, right? So I was actually taking political science classes. And then this girl comes into our class, and she's an anthropologist, and she sits down and tells us she just got back from Mexico, where she went into a Catholic ceremony, and they gave her sacred mushrooms and as the body of Christ for a Catholic mass ceremony. And she told us how she had this excellent experience and how she had a religious experience. And I was like, and she got paid a federal grant for that. You know, and I was like, wow, so wait, you just got like 10 grand by the feds to go eat mushrooms while there's people in prison? Like,
Fantastic.
you know, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, okay, this is the job. I'm getting into anthropology. You know?
Yeah, I'll sign up for that.
Yeah,
Put my name down.
But they're doing that in Oaxaca Valley, Mexico, Catholic
Blimey.
ceremonies, the body of Christ, they're calling it. So this isn't something that like is that, you know,
no.
novel.
Real shit.
I think it's
Mexico.
I have hope. I have a lot of hope for humanity. Really, to say that at these times when you see the news and stuff, I realize I sound kind of crazy. But if we can get control over the corruption, we have so many answers available. There's so many studies being done regarding the healing properties of psychedelics. There's a lot of vets who are receiving benefit, different treatments. It's actually one of the things my hopeful guest is going to talk about too. Some of the work healing veterans from their moral injuries. But this, in the bigger picture, the topic of the what's the correct word for these again? The plants that do this with your mind, exogen. What is it?
Entheogen.
Entheogens.
Entheogens.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
And that's because the theo in it, you know, is the Greek for God, and there's substances that give you godlike or religious experiences, you know.
Natural botanicals.
Thank you. Well, we have all of these opportunities for us. Sorry, my mind, I took off. But thank you for sharing these conversations, man. This excites me. It's coming back regarding the plants, the term you said, and regarding the spiritual messages as well.
Yeah.
We are here to bring the healing. You know, the prophecies, the old prophecies of the lion and lamb laying together, of true peace on earth. We've got a chance for that to happen through us. When I was a kid and I heard the things about religion and stuff, I didn't believe any of it. And then even when I did start believing in it, I didn't think that anything substantial would happen in our lifetimes. Because nothing happened in the past couple of thousand years. So why should anything happen in this 50 years, 100 years? But guys, this world is changing so rapidly. We are experiencing a quickening in development. People are learning. There's a lot of unsettling changes that are being predicted. But if we can unite together, not if, when we unite together, there will be no space or time for corruption. I mean, this is what I feel, is that this is the time. The answers have always been there. God has always been there. Love has always been there. But our minds, we weren't prepared for it yet. In myself, like I said, I encourage others, try these ideas on for you too. See how it feels for you. Just to sit with the day, the present, knowing that the past was all preparation. Some of it was tough, some of it was easy, some of it was scary, some of it was boring, but the past was preparation, and the future starts today.
Yep.
And everything. Not just the future, but it's a future that's different than anything we've experienced in the past, because that's the progress of nature. It is constantly changing, constantly better, constantly greater. So if we can start living like that, choosing to move with what makes me greater, what makes my life greater, my experience greater, my quality, my patience, my kindness. When we can start focusing on those attributes for ourselves, the pieces will just come together. Because the pieces come together anyway, whether we worry about it or not. Pieces of the future, I mean.
Amen, brother.
Amen.
All right,
Hey,
guys.
yes.
Amen to that.
Love you guys, man. You did great, Jack. Send him some
Much,
money, guys. Peace out. Much love.
much love to you, brother. I appreciate you joining still, man. Thank you sincerely. And I do feel like
Peace
it
out
is
to
time
him.
to start wrapping up.
That is, dude.
Anything more from you, Ricardo? I'm
No,
gonna give
just I've just had a great. Probably had the best stream experience tonight of any stream, and it's been so good. So thanks for letting me be a part of it.
thank you for being a part of it. You were a part of it. Thank you for bringing yourself and the energy and the conversations. I hope you return again in the future, brother.
Yes, I will do. I will do. See you soon.
Much love, brother. And TML, sincerely, thank you. Always an honor and a pleasure with you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, we banged a couple of these shows out that are pretty legendary, brother Jack. So it's always a pleasure to return here. I got a great passage here from the Technological Society of Jacques Ellul.
Please.
Yeah, this is a book that I've been working through, and we're almost done. I'm reading it at the show over there. Right. And this is what it says. It says that this is the first time in history that man has been so affected in so many untraditional ways. Carried along by events, he has been plunged into war at periodic intervals. But today's war is total war, a unique and unbelievable phenomenon. It is the onus and concern of all men. It subjects everyone to the same way of life, puts everyone on the same level with everyone else, and threatens everyone with the same death. Under its sway, men have to endure unheard of sufferings and fatigue. War is now beyond human endurance and noise, movement, enormity of means, and precision of machines. And man himself has become merely an object to be killed, and prey to be a permanent panic that he is unable to translate into personal actions. Man is subjected by modern war to a nervous tension, a psychic pressure, and an animal submission which beyond human power to support, but involved and committed to the machine. He does not contrive to support all this. Admirable machine that he is. In the process, however, he is stretched to the limit of his resistance, like a steel cable that may break at any moment. The conditions of war may still be abnormal and exceptional. Nevertheless, even 4 or 5 years of war are significant in the life of a man. Mm-hmm. So this is an unbearable condition, right, that affects all of us. I think he's right. It's a condition that is unique in history, right? I mean, it is technical means that we're all being subjected to. We're being made an instrument of, band together and stop that, machine from waging war. Definitely. Blessings to all the people.
Hey, blessings to you. The machine lies. I appreciate you sincerely. I'm going to drop you out. And for those who haven't, I encourage you, please check out some of these guests. Give him some support, particularly Machine Lies. He streams pretty regularly himself. Some of these ideas with that reading he brought, it started out pointing out the how mankind can get effective with the unconditional. And we are living through some unconditional times, and the signs are there. And that's what TML and others online and in authorship, in books, people have been pointing out for quite a while. Hey, guys, there's something going on here. There's something not quite right. And we kind of need to pay attention. We need to kind of figure out how can we get along, because there's wars happening, and the wars that are happening in this world, they're not normal. We've normalized chaos, and we've normalized sin, and we've normalized suffering and oppression and ignorance, and that's not normal. It's really not normal. I mean, it can be normal. We can normalize anything. truly, we can become effective at the untraditional. We can create new rhythms in anything, but let's do that. Let's do it consciously and intentionally and with purpose and with love and joy. Let's do it with God, right? Let's delight in the Lord, recognize goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever when I choose to be master of me, of my soul, of my destiny, when I choose to be moved by love and love alone. And sometimes that means you have to sit and be unmoved until love moves you, but I don't know. This is my story. This is my path. I think I'm going to wrap it up from here. We went long, but thank you. For those who are still around, I'm going to forward us over to Proper Instruction Motivates People. He was a guest here yesterday or recently, and I said he's streaming again. So I'm going to wrap it up from here. Thank you again. From me to you. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless us all. And thank you again, the wonderful guests, everyone we had today. Blessings.